the Chicago Bears might surprise every last one of us at pick number 10. But what do we know? Got a whole lot of conversation to have, and let's get it cracking. Yo, 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 no maniacs. Welcome to Nomad at Night, man. One of my favorite shows to do with my guys. I got my guys here today, and we may have a special guest coming up a little bit later. Whenever that person decides to pop in, we're going to welcome him like we always do everybody else. But let me first apologize to everybody that tuned into that podcast that happened earlier this afternoon. That was not supposed to be a podcast. One of the little catches to, running a YouTube channel is when you go and get ready to stream live, or when you go get ready to record something for a video and put it up later, or whenever you want to do it, you got to make sure you're in the right functionality, basically. So what happened today was I was doing a podcast live and didn't realize I was doing a podcast that was supposed to be a recording. So everybody that was in that show and was commenting on what I was talking about during that video, man, my sincere apologies to you guys. I had no idea you were there because I was in the green room, and all I seen on my screen was the, exit the, quit the video. That's all I saw. So I didn't see any of the comments until afterwards. So my apologies to you guys. I'm gonna get better at this stuff. I'm very, very new at this, and I felt bad about that because there was so many people commenting on what I was saying, and I didn't even realize they were there. So my apologies to you guys. But we're going to talk about some football. We're going to talk about some life. We're going to talk about some of everything. And hopefully our special guest will pop in and we'll kick it with him and do the whole thing, man. But kids, man, my guy in Canada, man, what's been going on? What's cracking with you lately?
Bear stuff mostly. Family's doing all right. Bro. Yeah. Anyways, we'll leave the family stuff alone for now. We'll talk about it on we'll save that for extra sauce next week. But yeah, man, bear stuff, man. Bear stuff is real interesting. I'm excited about many things, and we'll get into them. I'm being tight-lipped right now, so we can actually do the darn thing the right way. But let me give a little bit of love to the folks who jumped in with us early. The Clumsy Dad's with us. Smitty Q's out there. Cornelius Squalls, number 2, No Maniac. Big love to you, brother. The Minister, Super No Maniac, Charles Johnson. Where you at, dog? We're supposed to be mock drafting tonight. I came in early for you. You let me down. We're going to do this damn mock draft one way or the other. That's all I got to say. It's going to happen sooner or later. Who else is out there? Derek Guy's down with us. Our homie Petty Murphy, Black Diamonds out there. Marco King jumped in. Who else we got? Notorious, Frank, Q, and yeah, that about rounds it out. Hey man, I got my homie right here underneath me, Triple R. What are you saying, my brother?
Hey, big up to all of the No Maniacs, all of the prospective No Maniacs, the casual No Mani ads, not even acts, just ads. What up to all y'all? Big up to Nomad, to kids and the dude. Everybody out there, thanks for hanging out and talking some Bears. Thanks for having me. And remember to check out my channel, Let's Sports Chicago Style. Go ahead, Nomad.
Yes, make sure you do that. Make sure all you guys hit the go-to trips and kids' channel, please. I'm not telling, I'm asking. No Maniacs, I'm so proud of this community. But one thing I do pride myself on with you guys, in conjunction with you guys, is how we all, take care of each other, man. Make sure you go hit the subscribe button at Kids' channel and at Trips' channel, Sports Chicago Style, man. Make sure you do that. I want to see these guys get it too, man. I appreciate all the new subs that's coming in over here. We really, really appreciate that. And we're going to pay you back with a whole lot more content. That's how we're going to do it. Make sure you guys see this offseason. For me, it's been like it's like a challenge for me. And I took it this way, kids and trips. You hear all the noise about, this is the worst time of the year for Bears fans because there's no new things to talk about. One of the things that I tried to pride myself this offseason in is making sure we kept it fresh, kept it funky, kept it up to date, and talk about what's really, really going on in regards to what the Bears can do with this draft, making sure everybody knows who these players are, making sure, just anything that we could have done in free agency. I think we covered it well over here. So we're doing our part to make sure you guys are covered and smothered. and I hope you guys are enjoying it. But let's get into some football and some. How about this, man? Because this really, man, this is about as comfortable as a cactus pair of underwear, man. The whole talk about the stadium. Now the stadium. Have you guys heard any news about the stadium? Anything at all? Nobody.
What you talking about, Willis? Stadium?
Yeah, I don't know. I hate talking about it, man. I'm like, wake me up when the damn thing is there. Until then,
the last thing I heard was that the Arlington Heights city council or board or whatever the fuck they voted to lower the taxes or accept some kind of concession that the team from the Bears and President Warren wanted. So that was just a few weeks ago. So there was some political movement on the stadium issue on the part of the Arlington Heights board people.
Don't you think this is going too far, man? They need to make a damn decision. I'm tired of the whole thing. If you're going to do it in Arlington, damn, do it in Arlington. You're not, at this point, I don't think Kevin Warren is getting, there could be something that shakes, but I don't think so, man. I think this thing is going up in Arlington, and they need to stop messing around. The quicker, the better. I want to see the damn duplex be built, or whatever they're going to call that thing, multiplex, whatever it is, get it up.
Yeah, we understand that, but let me speak as though I'm Kevin Warren. Calm your happy ass now.
Oh no.
Let me handle my business, because I ain't got no lips, so I got to be able to do something with my fine ass suits. I've done this before in Minnesota. I've handled the personalities with the Big Ten and negotiated contracts, billion-dollar contracts, whether it be with ESPN or cable networks or satellite people or contracts regarding unions or what have you, or new divisions. Now I'm in Chicago. I moved on up. I done put George McCaskey, in his place. And I was like, look, man, your boy Flus, he got to go. We got this nice young man, Ryan Poles, in here running this shit. We need you to go and, spend some money, grieve for your mama, spend time with your family, do whatever it is you need to do. Just leave Hallis Hall to the professionals. Thank you for opening up the checkbook regarding the $15 million to pay to Ben Johnson, the number one hottest coaching prospect out there, and letting him put together his staff of young guys and veterans, all respected throughout the league by players, fellow coaches alike, ownership alike. From the back end with Harris to get Tyreek's head out of his ass, to Dennis Allen to capitalize on Sweat and the pit players that Ryan Poles is bringing in. The offensive side of the ball, we got the rookie quarterback now. We're protecting them on the front line because the President Warren is like, hey, we're going to go in this direction here, this winning direction, this winning culture, because I want to put asses in seats of the new stadium wherever it is. It's a lot easier if you have a winning product on the field.
Well,
now we understand as fans that we want that shit now.
Prices, eh? That don't stop nobody from raising
hey, taxation. You know how that goes. We got to raise that. You know how that is.
Taxation and inflation, baby.
PSL's private. I remember when the PSLs took place. It was like, wait, we got to pay a tax just to get a seat, and it's like that was a long time ago. But and more to your point, Nomad, it's not all up to what Warren wants to do or what the fans want to do. It's like, what does Arlington Heights want to do? Because ultimately, it's going to be there. But they wanted to play hardball with the leverage that they had to get as much money as they could. And if you come out and say $10 million and they give you $10 million, the people at Arlington Heights is like, yeah, we some bad motherfuckers, right? I know. But you say $10 million, and then the Bears is like, no, kiss my ass. And then $3 million? Then the Bears is like, yeah, that's more like it. Yeah,
I'm like,
and then Arlington Heights is like, okay, and so that's a political process that takes time, and so it's not like the shovel is going in the ground next week. It takes time to negotiate, and then when it comes out, it's going to be beautiful.
I think he had probably somewhat played himself and got himself in a rock and a hard place, and he needs to make a decision. That's why I think it is. And I understand the business side of ain't nothing clean cut, black and white. There's people and there's politics. All that shit has to play in it. All I know.
But let me ask you this: if you was in his position, and Arlington Heights was saying, "Oh, we want 10 million in tax," are you just gonna pay him, or are you gonna negotiate and play a little hardball?
Well, I think in the big picture, I think it's going to be worth 10 million.
Well, but he played a little hardball and it only took a few months. He got it down 3 million.
Look, this thing's gonna make them money no matter how you. First off, it's real estate, y'all. This is what we're talking about here. We're talking about one of the few things on the planet Earth that appreciates. They can just sit on that thing. It'll be worth more tomorrow if they do nothing with it. But if you develop the real estate, boom, now you're talking. So the question is, how are you going to develop it? What are you going to do? If they're talking about putting in, obviously, a stadium, maybe a racetrack, maybe a couple of hotels, who knows what we're really talking about here? This is into the billions of dollars worth of development, and they win, no matter how you slice it. The question is, though, up front, do you want to pony up 10 grand or not?
Well, you got it.
Sorry, 10 million. I'm pretty sure that our guy, Mr. Warren, has figured out the fact that he, first off, doesn't want to pony up to 10 million. Secondarily, he knows he can sit around and wait for somebody to stop, because this, like, right off the bat, it equals jobs in whatever region this is happening.
Yeah.
So who wants the jobs, right?
You know what, kids? I don't know, because you don't know. You're not familiar with the area. And so Arlington Heights ain't a big bustling metropolitan area by any stretch.
I assume it's a suburb, right?
Yeah, it's a little suburb. Okay. And what it's about to turn into really quick is a bustling metropolitan area in a quick, and it's going to happen at a rapid pace. And I think they're getting square with the idea that, our cities, our little towns about to change. Our little township or whatever the hell it is out there, it's about to change. And they're getting used to the thoughts that, we're going to have to change with the time. It's going to cost us a little bit of, privacy, but it's going to be in the bigger picture. Everybody's going to be able to eat from it. You know what I mean? Our kids and everybody else. And so that shit's going on too. So if
don't forget that there was already a racetrack out there, a horse racing track in Arlington Heights. So they're used to, that traffic. Now is just the opportunity to capitalize on a burgeoning market, the NF goddamn L, and some of that money out there, that's where it's at. That's what's up. And the mayor has his own, pressure, because the residents out there, they like, hey, don't you fuck up this money. You know what I mean? It's like we can get by with a lot less than what you asking for. So that's why that ask went down, or that tax bill went down, because obviously it's just an arbitrary number they're coming up with, based on what parameters, in the accounting world, we don't know. It's just like, oh, well, we're going to reduce it another 6 million. It's like, where'd that come from? I mean, what kind of numbers you working with to start with? But that's neither here nor there. But Warren is doing his negotiating, you know what I'm saying? And when it's built, and it's the envy of the NFL, it's on all the Monday Night Football games. We finally get a Super Bowl in town, because it's going to be a dome, and they don't want to bring Super Bowl to cold weather cities, but hopefully with a dome, they'll do it. And it's like, then we'll be the envy of the eye, that it's like, yes, the patience paid off. So patience, young man, patience, young women, patience, those that want that shovel in the ground right goddamn now. Chill.
Slow your roll. You got it.
No, it's a lot of people. I don't want to get carried away in this conversation, because I really do not like it, man. I'd rather.
Well, let's just do this thing, get it out of the way. We got plenty of time tonight. I know what you mean. So they're obviously looking at Arlington. There's been, a mock-up and talk about downtown. Is there another location that what was the latest mock-up?
The Michael Reese. It's like probably about 5-10 minutes away from Soldier Field, something like that. The Michael Reese is an old hospital.
Yeah, that's right.
Cornelius Walls just mentioned he was born in that hospital. I don't know if they do anything on that site anymore. Do they do anything on the Michael Reese site anymore? Trips, or is just kind of abandoned right now?
Yes, I'm abandoned right now.
Yeah, so I just know this, man. It's just like all you have to do, like kids, the minute I know how you feel about it now. All you have to do is come on down here and take a trip around the city, up
I
around that.
wanted to be in Chicago, bro. Like for all intents and
That's
purposes,
because you haven't been here, kids. You
doesn't
haven't been
matter.
here. That's where I'm going.
I'm just saying that's where I would like it to be. I'm saying this because I haven't been there, and when I show up, I want to, you know what I mean. I want to experience the whole Chicago thing. I don't want to have to go out to the suburbs to experience the football portion of it. That's just me. That's
Well, but
straight up
that
my Creed
you
take on it.
also that's also the thought pattern of a lot of homers, a lot of home people that
Yeah.
grew up with the nostalgia of the Bears play at Soldier Field is right there. You know what I mean? On the lake. You know, we pass it, we see the lights on Monday night. It's like, yeah, the whole nation's watching. But to have now, it's like, wait, Arlington Heights, that's not even in the city, even though it's cool because there are many teams, you know, across NFL that don't play in the city that they're named for. They play in those suburbs. And if we can have a campus that is dedicated to the Bears, unlike now where it's just kind of shoehorned in there between the McCormick Place and the planetarium and the museum, and it's like, you know, everybody descends on it at different times but leaves at the same time. It, you know, Lakeshore Drive is all messed up, and you know, all the loop traffic is all messed up. It's just a pain in the ass in the city if you think about it.
Yeah,
But nostalgia wise, that backdrop of the skyline, you know, on a night game, on a national game, and it's like, yeah, you know, Chicago Bears on the lakefront, you know.
How many people? Just this is a random. However you answer this is going to be very random because I know don't nobody know. By percentage, how many people do you think travel in and around the city for work every day versus how many people probably take the public transportation, train, bus, and all that kind of stuff, which is a lot easier. How many people in contrast? How many do you think?
So you're asking a real question here, bro. Go you think you can answer that?
Ask that again, please.
So based on how many people you see moving and around, working in and around the metro area, inside the city, how many of those people you think drive in and out of the city and drive around versus, you know, take the train or the bus or whatever they do?
I would say that I don't want to put a percentage on it, but the majority would have to take public transportation, whether it be the trains, buses, or metro, because there's not enough parking down there for all of the workers to drive. You know, there's many lots, you know, the vertical lots, the underground lots in the Grant Park. So there is parking, but not enough for all the worker bees that are down in the Loop area during, you know, Monday through Friday, 9 and 5, plus the visitors that, you know, are coming to do business.
Yeah.
You know, they have to travel themselves. So the majority would have to be public transportation, I would go with.
That's probably not a bad estimation. I think more and more people are getting off the road, you know, because it's just like, and then to add a new stadium in there, man, I don't even live up and around that part. But golly, man, it's already enough going on up there, man. It's way too much, man. But I just know this. I don't like traffic. I hate being in it. It makes my stomach just turn somersaults just thinking about traffic. I hate it. And I know it's a lot of people that feel like me in and around the city. And I wouldn't have any problem hopping the train and riding up to Arlington Heights. I don't have no problem driving up there. You know, if I want to go see that game and I want to have that experience, you're going to be doing a whole lot more than watching a football game once that thing is done. You know, you're going to be hanging out up there, you know, when the games aren't happening. There's going to be concerts, all kinds of craziness going on when that thing gets there. But, you know, that's just my take on it, man.
Well, don't sleep on the traffic, you know, at Arlington Heights just because it's not in the city, you know, having to deal with that urban traffic. You're going to have the traffic that's just out there because even though it's handled the racetrack there before, there are choke points that 80,000 people are going to create when they're all converging on one location, around the same time and leaving about at the same time. So all of the arteries, the streets, the routes, the highways around that area are going to be congested as hell because, idiots and they're driving. And so don't think that it's just going to be easy in, easy out. Hey, no problem. And even if you do take the metro, now every train coming out of there is going to be packed with a lot of beer soaked, either happy or sad, fans of whatever team, all up close and personal, all up in your space and shit. And it's hot and they smell. So yeah, that's gonna happen after the game. So look forward to that with your no congestion. Think the happy thoughts.
Man, dude, that all I know is
that's a killer, right? Downtown, like I'm just thinking about Toronto and where their stadium is. It's smack in the middle of the heart of the city, and it's a bloody nightmare. You know what I mean? Like I just gotta say it. It's a nightmare to get down there and do the darn thing. So maybe Arlington Heights is the better idea. You move it out of the congested case scenario and you build a football shrine out there. You know what I mean? Plus the hotels to hold people coming into town dedicated more or less to that situation. You put a casino and a racetrack up there with it too, and now you're rocking.
Hey, dude, last time I was up there dealing with it, I had to take a kid to court one day. I had to take him to court and then to DCFS office over on the south side. And man, dude, I can do without all that, man. I'm just being honest with you. Sometimes it just gets so tight and crazy. It's hot, in the middle of the summer, and it was just like, dude, I could do without all that. But that's what people deal with every day, man. And that's that, man. That stuff is gonna sort itself out, and I'll be anxious to see what happens.
Well, you know what else though that would be cool that they put on the property because they have the acreage. Not only the stadium and the hotels and the nightlife, the bars, the restaurants, the Chicago staples and like a little strip mall area. So you get your Harold's, you get your Uncle Remus, you get your Garrett's popcorn, all of that stuff. But also the exercise areas, whereas you can put like a big walking track, jogging track around the place, parallel that with a biker's trail or, some kind of, separate the two. And then in the wintertime, there can be like sleds or like, little snowmobiles track. But I want to see, as a Bears fan, a rebuilt replica of the hill that Walter Payton used to run when he was working out. There's on record, the dimensions of that hill, and they can do that out there to incorporate along that walking, exercise, running track that they should be putting in, especially if they're gonna put in all these food places where all our fat asses, you got to be able to work that off. And so you got to have the Sweetness Hill, and have the tours, and as the people come in, and it's like, oh shit, Chicago Bears history, little museums. It's like, oh shit, this is the kind of hill Sweetness ran on, and then they try to run their ass up there, and it's like first aid. So you got to make sure you have 911 on auto dial or on campus out there.
Man, they should do it with Eddie Payton, man. They should put Eddie Payton out there. Post the whole situation. Shout out to you, Eddie. Eddie's
going to have his fingerprints and memory is going to be all over whatever they do. Guaranteed. Stadium is going to be a statue out there. All that's going to happen. But look at King Booker World. He says, I'm a tow truck driver in the city. So I'm all over the city. Yes, this traffic is horrible.
Yeah.
I feel
all right. And I'll back off of the city idea. As much as, again, me being a third-party guy coming in tourist style, loving the idea of having it all, all you can eat, one-stop shop, man, I won't be driving. So, you know what I mean? I'll be calling an Uber or jumping on public transportation for the day. Even that might be a nightmare, to be frank with you, because like I'm saying about the Toronto situation, it's a public transportation doesn't make it any better. It actually makes it even worse. So
I'll tell you one thing, and like I complain about Chicago traffic, but nothing in the world will get you ready for Atlanta traffic. Like that place is too small. The infrastructure is too small. Like Chicago was built to be able to handle, a big, huge population of people. Like Atlanta wasn't made like that. Atlanta's got little, I mean, it is bad. Like Chicago is a relief compared to Atlanta. Man, you might be stuck in the same damn place for 3 hours, man. Literally. You might be stuck in the same damn place for 3 hours on the road, just trying to get home from work.
No, thank you. Hey, there's a Skylark in the chat there. Big up to all the maniacs. Make sure you are liking and subscribing to the channel and to the show. It says the new stadium have to include the columns. No, because the columns are part of what makes Soldier Field qualify for its legendary status, or its legend status. It's a term they call it. But the historical relevance of Soldier Field has to do with those columns. So those things are there forever. So whatever it is going to be at Arlington Heights is not going to be Soldier Field, because Soldier Field is what it is. Now it's the Park District's headache once the Bears leave.
All right, hey, you guys carry on for a second. I gotta get an invite to the guests here.
What is it? Not legendary status. What's the name of something, kids? A historic status? Monumental status? What do they call it legally? Like when something's historic and shit, and you can't fuck with it. You mute it, kids.
Yeah, so yeah. I got stuff going on over here too on a whole other level. Man, there's a word for it. It's like a historical monument.
Yeah, but whatever the qualifications legally, the historic designation, that's what those colonnades represent. So that's why the current Soldier Field now looks like
Minister Charles just nailed it. It's a historical landmark. Yeah, that's
historical landmark. Thank you, Minister. Minister be in my head. He understands me. He understands a brother. I like that. Right on, Minister.
Hey kids, I'm sending you a message in here. I just need to see if you can do that for me so I can manage this show.
Yeah, landmark status. Right on, Cornelius. Right on here. D Nice, Aunt Moss, Illinois Jones, Black Diamond. See, I figured out how to say that. King, Smitty Q, Crooked Commish, Traffic Keeper, Marlon, Jacob Paul, Don. Yeah, so big up all y'all. And thanks for joining us on this beautiful Sunday evening. Dante, Purify, MC Fact. Go ahead, Nomad.
No, go ahead. I'm messaging somebody.
Okay, yeah, I'm just scrolling through the names here. Notorious TBG, Frank Quiros, Marco King, Derek Guy, and if the Lumsy Dad, the Clumsy Dad. Yeah, I can read. Yeah, so everybody, big up. Thanks for joining us, and thanks for not just being lurkers and voyeurs, and actually participating with the program, and hitting up the chat.
Say that one more time en français.
Was it successful? Able to pass the invite on?
Yeah, I got you. Hold on, I'll take care of it.
What up, Demond Dice just bust up in this piece. Crooked Commish just bust up in here. Skylark. Who else just bust up in this thing? Let me see. Those are the ones. Demond Dice, I see the most recent one. But yeah, we just waiting on it. We got a guest coming on.
Didn't everybody grow up with that TV commercial? Rolling Writers. I think it was like a big commercial, and they would come on, during the back to school time to advertise they wares, to sell to the shorties going back to class. Back when we had school supplies and all that good shit. But yeah, that was one of the commercials. Like, ooh, and I was like, ooh, that's nice. You roll the tongue, and then it was like, my guess, Eartha Kitt, Catwoman, the original Catwoman back on TV was like, da, 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 bang, pow, da, da. So yeah, it was that. And then as you get older, you roll your tongue because Partners learn to like it and love it if you do it in the right spot, in the right place, and the right speed, and the right, you know what I'm saying?
Oh Lord, we gotta get to some Bears content because he done took off the reservation now. All right, so all right, we're gonna get into some particulars about this free agency. Let's just start here, man, before I carry it to this next level of the conversation. Trying to wait on our guest. I'm gonna get started. He can pop in. But what did you guys think about the most recent signing, Olamide Zaccheaus, the slot receiver? Something that we targeted all offseason, saying we need to address that because we don't know what the hell Tyler Scott is. What did you guys think about him, or did you even have a chance to check him out and see what he can bring to the table? Anybody?
Kids, you first up.
Come again, sir.
Slot receiver, Olamide Zaccheaus.
Oh, that's what she said.
Yeah, baby, that's what I really wanted to talk about. Okay, cool. Yeah. So watched a bunch of film on him, but I was already well aware. Fact is, he's got great hands. He's pretty darn fast, but most importantly, my guy blocks.
Mm-hmm.
There's your blocking wide receiver, yo. Right? Even it's so funny because I also saw a couple of clips from a certain St. Brown brother saying, tell Ben to give me a shout. You know what I mean? Send me a DM, give me a call.
Yeah, we good, homie. We good.
I'm sorry, dog. I'm sorry. We know you can block like an MF, but yeah, I think we got a guy. His name is OZ, and OZ's coming to play. And what makes things really interesting now is you throw him into the slot and he does the blocking thing alongside another big blocking tight end. And, Braxton and Joe Thuney and the rest of the offensive line starting to sound a little bit nicer, right? But then you can also sneak out a pass catching running back right in and around all that. Or you can switch him into the slot too. There's going to be some interesting stuff. As soon as I saw Olamide Zaccheaus, I'm also going to say that I was probably the only guy on any of my little free agencies who talked about OZ. I was like, you know what? He's a guy. He can block. Maybe we should do it.
I didn't think Washington would let him out of there because he performed so well for him.
Bro, in the game versus us too, he was everywhere.
Yeah. The key is when you hear me say we need a professional slot receiver, that's what I mean. Somebody who really can work the interior of a defense, and this is slot receiver is a real trade. Like you have to be an NFL slot receiver. You need to be good. You need to be a jitterbug. You need to be able to take the top off the defense, sit down in zones, and just be a route technician and constantly getting yourself open. And that's what you see on film with him. He's everything that I just described, and that's like probably 2/3 more than what Tyler Scott is right now. And not to say that Tyler Scott can't get to that level, but that's what he needs to be reaching at. Like you just didn't see that kind of work in the middle of the field like you need to be as a professional slot receiver, man. And it was, I don't know whose fault it is. The coaching is. I don't know who to blame for it, but I know that kid has a lot of potential. I just don't know.
Right. I would think that Zaccheaus, every time I've seen him play, he knows how to get open, like Nomad was saying, whether it be little jerk routes or settle down in his zone or taking the top off because there's the blitz opportunity, and so he can go by it. He presents himself as an option, which I'm sure that Ben Johnson and especially trickle down theory, Caleb Johnson will fucking love. And the toughness, he will finish a block. He will stick his nose in there. He's a smaller stature fella, but he's thick. He's short, but he's almost 200 pounds. And so
that was a bit of a Freudian slip. You said Caleb Johnson, who's a potential running back prospect that we might be looking at too. It was a little bit Freudian. You're probably just thinking about running backs as well. I know you're talking about Caleb. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Caleb Williams, the quarterback. Thank you.
A little Freudian.
Yeah. Thank you very much for pointing that out. But yeah, you motherfuckers know what the hell I'm talking about. But anyway, and then Tyler Scott to be able to pick up some knowledge, also from Zacharias, because and I like that he's coming in off of his second, contract, so it's not like his third or fourth deal. So he's older, so he's still ascending, and it's possible somebody that can be extended if the play and the match is there. And so I like that going forward, that he can grow with this offense and this team. It's not just a stopgap. But on the Tyler Scott tip, don't sleep on Coach Randall Antoine Randall L. You know what I mean?
All I know is I'm still a little.
He's gonna get
too many more motherfuckers. Yeah.
He's gonna get his hands on Tyler Scott the way he kept the dude that was betting on games and shit in the locker room. He was strapped, just all around hoodlum. Jameson and Williams, goddamn, homie. But Randall L was able to reach him and get him to progress as a talent on the field. And Tyler Scott doesn't have all those other issues to deal with and contend with. And so maybe now he would actually be developed, because remember, the system that he's been drafted in and come up in has changed coaches and had, lack of coaching as complained by the players' council. And so Tyler Scott hasn't been developed whatever talent he does have. So with this new administration coming in, this new regime, I believe that they can get whatever is there molded into something. Because when we see him on the field in the role that he's asked to perform, he does it okay. Whether it's returning kicks out there, blocking for something, or coming in, to take the kneel downs. He does what's asked of him. But I believe going forward, Coach Randall L., Coach Johnson, and Tyler Scott can be a weapon, and they're gonna figure that shit out.
This is why you're getting all the means of Zacchaeus, because the fact of the matter is he's not that far up on the depth chart versus Tyler Scott, right? Like, he's not a three-time Pro Bowler, potential Hall of Fame wide receiver. This is what I'm comparing Olamide Zacchaeus to Keenan Allen.
Right.
It's a stark, huge difference. Olamide Zacchaeus is a slot receiver. He plays the position the way it's supposed to be played. He's a blocking slot receiver. That's really what you need in that position, so that, again, Caleb Williams can focus on his number one and number two receiver. That's really what you need. Now, that also means that Tyler Scott's probably going to get some actual playing time now. He wasn't going to get, and I said it all last year, he just wasn't going to get playing time over Keenan Allen. That's just silly. Unless Keenan Allen is gassed. Like, if you're gassed and you need to take 5, yeah, okay, we'll put out a Tyler Scott there for a couple. Oh, wait, you're good to go. Tyler, get off the field, Tyler. put Keenan Allen back out there. And that's really the difference. So I'll be surprised if they go out into free agency and pick up a Cooper Kupp or somebody, or even bring Keenan Allen back. I'll be pretty surprised. I have a strange feeling they may grab somebody in the draft and just rotate those guys into that slot position. And I think that's perfect.
Hey,
Xavier Restrepo, maybe?
Didn't Cooper Kupp sign with Seattle?
Yes, he
maybe.
did. Yes,
okay.
He did. Yes, he did. He signed with Seattle. Man, there's been a nice little flurry of moves that's been happened.
Hey, can you hit up that free agency updater?
Let me see. Give me a second.
Yeah, because I remember seeing that Cooper was going home. Thank you, Jose Sanchez.
That's our
Jose. Let me see. I got it here. Here we go.
FFG style up in here. Ron C.
Can you guys see it?
Yes,
Sophisticated thoughts.
All right, let's see the latest. Let's see the latest free agency tracker.
What up, Mark?
Steelers signed a D tackle.
D nice.
The Commanders. We're gonna have a conversation about all this noise about the Bears won the offseason. They ain't been watching what the Commanders been up to. Jalen Holmes, we had him for a minute. He went to the Commanders. Remember him?
Nope.
He came and left pretty quick. Rams signed a running back.
Which back went to the Rams?
Dude named Rivers, last name Rivers. Ronnie Rivers.
Ronnie Rivers.
Yeah, probably don't know him. I don't.
Ronnie, Bobby, Ricky, and Mike.
Oh, one of the guys I thought we might target in the free agency, the Chiefs. let him go. Derek Nottie went to the Jets. They making some real strong moves too. Real strong move. Cooper Rush went to the Ravens as a backup to Lamar Jackson. Let's see what else. Oh yeah, I don't know if you guys know, but Justin is switching his number to 7. Let me see. Oh yeah, your boy Mason, Jordan Mason. He went to the Vikings. We ain't. That's a problem, dude.
That one I knew about.
I don't like that. That dude is a problem. He runs hard, dude. I mean, real hard. Valus is going to the Saints.
Valus. Cool it now.
On that new edition.
Slow it down.
Juju went back to the Chiefs.
He gonna lose control of the football.
Ferris Campbell went to the Cowboys.
Oh no!
Cousins they had to keep him, and it cost them $100 million. Damn. Miles Sanders went to the Cowboys. Let me see. You're just trying to keep up on what's been happening. Juszczyk, I thought he's returning to the Niners. I thought he was going to be out there, man, but they did something to keep him back inside the building. 2-year deal. Commanders, I'm telling you, made some moves, dude. I'm telling you. Let me see. Tyler Johnson. Wait a minute. Yeah, Tyler Johnson went back to. Okay, that's irrelevant. Let me see. Juszczyk. And that's pretty much it. That's the most updated version of free agency that we got. And so, I'm telling you. All right, so let's get to this conversation because this is one of those things. I was trying to wait for our guest to come in here before I bring it up. Hopefully he pops in here. But this is whole talk about the Bears won the offseason. And it I can't say it irritates me. I'm just like trying to scratch in my head, trying to figure out what people are thinking about. It's the same thing as like the argument we had here live on the show when we were talking about Ben Johnson won the press conference. Like, who's he competing against? You know what I mean?
Suckers.
Like, what do you guys think about the Bears won the offseason? Now, I do think,
okay,
like, there's not a move that they did this offseason that I am not 110%.
Well, first of all, what can you define to me for what winning the offseason, what those parameters are?
I don't know. It's
exactly. No one does.
I don't know.
That's the point. No one does. It's like, well, how are you gauging this one loss of this offseason? Well, the splashiest free agent signings. Is that considered winning? Or no one knows the parameters. If you look at it from the perspective of how did you help your team? Were you frugal or foolish with your free agency spending? And did you sign players who are upside, downside, or neutral, within their careers and all that together? And so if those are the parameters, the Bears, yes, they helped themselves as a team. I don't want to say won because then how do you rate it? It's like, well, the Commanders helped their team, the Vikings helped their team, the Bears helped their team. Well, who helped the most and how much? And yeah, my brain, I ain't got no time for to figure all that bullshit out. But did Ryan Poles do something to help his team? The power of Poles compels you. Yes, he did.
Let me put it in this category because in this sense, this is where I can be devil's advocate. And for anybody that's making the argument if we won the offseason or not, I don't know, man. But I know this. If you're gonna compete in the offseason and win, if you got an issue in the trenches of your team, if you haven't gotten that situation straightened out, if you got out of the offseason in free agency without addressing that, then you lost. But in that regard, we definitely won. We got some surefire studs on both sides of the ball that anybody watching football can get along with. This is a real strong improvement, and this is what we were asking for. So I think that's probably where the energy is in regards to this conversation is they did what we asked them to do. They fortified the trenches the best way they could in free agency, and they're gonna pile on that in the draft as well. But for that, I can say yes, we got to win in the offseason. I'm not gonna say we just won the offseason. I think the Commanders did that. If there's any team that really, really improved, and they're giving a challenge for a championship, just for the record. Not to say that we won't, but they are definitely going to challenge for a championship.
Look, the offseason is longer than the actual season. I'll take a win here because we ain't been getting too many wins in the actual season for a minute there. So I'll take a little victory lap. I'll take a little win here, but is it really the win that I want? No, I want the chip. I want the Super Bowl. I want Chicago to do the darn thing. So all I can say is this. I don't know if other teams have potentially stepped over us. Maybe the Commanders might have. They're really getting ready to bolster a fantastic season that they had last year. As far as this particular season is concerned, and as critical as this guy has been with respect to a certain Mr. Poles, I think that he's done all the right stuff this time around. And I said it, he needed to go into free agency and hit a home run to put himself in a position where he can draft without being beholden to specific positions, right? He's not. He can draft freely. He's unburdened, as a certain Miss Harris would say. He's unburdened. Anyways,
you got a direct question from Jose from Puerto Rico.
Yeah, the Vikings signed whoa! Hey, the Vikings signed both Hargrave and Jonathan Allen. Dirty. They already had a great defense. I think this solidifies that group and makes them more dangerous. Yeah. That defense is going to continue. Hey, there's our guy. I was a little certain somebody just jumped in. That is definitely going to make that line all the more dangerous, all the more pressures coming through. Again, we've certainly upgraded our line, so let's see how our new situation works against theirs. I believe they've also lost a couple of guys, right, on that line. I think they may have lost one, if not two, edge rushers. I think.
So, well, let me do this right quick. An intro. Drum roll, please. My guy, it's been a long time coming. It's been a while since I did a podcast with him, and I chopped it up with him earlier today. We had a great conversation, man. I enjoyed every minute of it. But without further ado, let me get my guy on the screen right quick. My guy Swifty is up in the business. Nailed it up in this.
What's good?
In the house.
Hey,
Cakes.
what's good?
It's been too long, man. It's been too long since we did content, man. We ain't had fun like this in a while, man.
It's an honor to be here. Let me just say that it's an honor to be here.
Wait
a minute, is that a chat? Is that a Swift in the chat?
It is. No relation, though. No relation.
Hey, no, he's got to be related to me, man. My cousin.
Okay.
No.
So I know you.
all y'all Swifts related. DeAndre Swift.
Man.
So what's happening, man? I know you're fretting over a whole bunch of tape when I talked to you earlier, man. What's going on? You in that process, just like me, man. What you seeing, what you're liking, anything you want to talk about in particular?
Man, everything, man. I'm just so excited about this year's draft. We have so many opportunities, man. The board is open. We can go anywhere with it. I know fans love to go at each other's throat, and they all want to fight. There's the Ashton Jeanty people, and then there's the no draft to running back people, and then there's we still got to get a left tackle people. It's like, look, just sit back as a fan, because for once we finally have a GM and a head coach that can come together and make decisions collaborative. You know the word, as a collaboration. They can make them together, and we should trust that. This franchise is in good hands for once. This isn't the same old Bears that we've all watched our entire lives, and for me, that's exciting.
Yeah, that's true, man. All right. So where we were talking about this,
That's right where I was with it, right? That's right where I was, because I was saying I had some problems with Ryan Poles this offseason, but all he needed to do was knock this offseason out of the park. And so far, so good. He's plugged the holes that we all knew were there, were clear and obvious, holes that he quite frankly ignored the year before. And now this team is ready for a couple of weapons. We're ready for, again, one more powerful piece to that defensive line, just one more, you know what I mean? Whether it's at DT or at the edge, we're ready for we're ready for that left tackle, just considering that Braxton's a little bit hurt. I know a lot of people are high on Braxton Jones, other people are low on Braxton Jones. Damn it.
No, I'm not low on him, man. Don't get me twisted. I think Braxton Jones. They got a lot out of that guy. I think the only problem I have with Braxton Jones is he cannot sit down against the Bull Rush. Other than that, you won't hear me say one foul thing against Braxton Jones, but that's proven. You see that on film time and time again. Other than that, technically the guy is about as efficient as they come. He grades out well when they do all the RAS scores and all that stuff, PFF, all that stuff that they do. But I see it on film. He only has a problem with occasionally jumping off sides and the bull rush. He just can't sit down. He doesn't have the butt to do it.
Well, now listen to what we're talking about here, Nomad, Kid, Swifty. You know, like what Swifty was saying. Come together right now at Alice Hall. Because Poles and Warren are putting it together now. We spoke on Warren a little bit earlier with the whole stadium issue. Now let's move it a little closer to the gridiron with Ryan Poles and what he's put together. You know, kids, I don't want to say that it's a misspoken to say that he ignored the offensive line, because if anything that we've noticed from Poles, he seems to have a plan when he does things. And so now as this team has come together, we have our, rookie quarterback that we are hoping develops into the franchise quarterback. We have weapons under contract with, a rookie wide receiver and Roma Dunze with DJ Moore that he got in trade. Now on the offensive side of the ball, he's still addressing the offensive line. The defensive line is need as a couple spots at the tackle and an edge. But other than that, we're good to go. Cornerbacks, we're pretty good to go. Safety, we may need to re-up because, Briss and his head thing. And, so we need some depth there. But now we're looking at actually needing depth starts and maybe one or two starting positions, whether it be Braxton Jones at the left tackle, because every other starting position is solidified. And so now we're 3 years into this rebuild and we're pretty good to go. Now, I don't see how this is a bad thing. We got a new coaching staff after the last one, shit the bed so much looking at you, Flus. So we're moving it forward. We're keeping it going up. I don't see how anything is nothing but, in a positive direction as far as what's been happening this offseason and winning it, so to speak.
Let me address Jose from Puerto Rico. He said, "Hey, Nomad, just an observation. I think the reason Poles didn't make better moves is because Flus had no clue about what he really wanted on offense. So it be left to Poles trying anything to decipher what was needed. I think he went right down the road. Thank you for that one, Jose. He went right down the road where I'm going. I'm gonna pass it to you, Swift, because this is what I think happened in the last couple of off seasons. I think with the hiring of Flus came Chris Morgan. And what I think is they had too much confidence in Chris Morgan. And Chris Morgan, and I keep trying to tell people, Poles makes none of these decisions in a vacuum, not in a utility closet. He makes this stuff in conjunction with what they telling him they need. Okay, how do you think about this player, that player? Okay, we'll go get him for you. And so I think they overestimated what Chris Morgan can bring to the table, and they brought in some subpar help. And they thought that Chris Morgan was gonna pretty much bring him up to a different level. And that's not what happened. You didn't see a whole lot of development. You have Braxton, yes. Have a look. You could say so much, to me, Darnell Wright is the same Darnell Wright we drafted. He's made some improvements, but like the ceiling is pretty still high for him. He didn't make the kind of improvements, but I think Chris Morgan has been the obstruction in the process. I think that's what's going on, really.
Yeah, 100%. I don't think a lot of people will continue to say he ignored the offensive line. And I hate that. Did he build the team offensive line first? No, but he overturned 51 of 53 spots on this roster while also fixing the salary cap and doing it the right way, building through the draft. Unlike other teams where they're always supplementing way too much in free agency and overspending, he's been very careful the last 3 seasons, and people don't give him credit for that. Instead, they knock him for it. They're like, oh, he didn't spend big on O-line. It's like, look, he tried. He took a stab in free agency, and you see what you get in free agency. You get guys like Nate Davis. You don't have guys like Joe Tooney hit free agency. You have to trade to get guys of that caliber because they don't often hit free agency. Now, it's rare, but it does happen. But you have to get lucky because you also need, if a player of that caliber hits free agency, what we didn't have the last 2 years, why would any of these players want to come to Chicago the last 2 years and play for Eberflus? We were not a team that players looked around the league and were like, oh, I want to go to Chicago. That's actually changed now. And that's incredible. I think that's a huge thing because growing up, that's never been like that. We've always thought, like Bears fans, we always play Madden in our heads. We think everybody should want to come to Chicago, right? Because we're the Bears. But in reality, that's not how it works. So the problem with Braxton Jones, I'll touch on that too. You're right. He can't defend the bull rush enough, and he's coming back from an ankle injury. I am a big fan of Braxton, though. I think he's a starting left tackle in the NFL, but I think he should be someone else's problem because what free agency showed me this year is no way in hell do I want to pay Braxton $25 million a season next year. And Dan Moore, who fans hate on Braxton Jones, anyone out there watch his tape, go watch the Steelers tape from last season. Dan Moore is not half as good as Braxton Jones, and he got $80 million. So that tells me next season we're going to need a new left tackle because someone's going to pay Braxton out the ass, and I don't want to be the team doing that. So we still need a left tackle. I want to see what Karan Amagaji has. I was
just gonna say. So what about Karan? Maybe you think
we just don't know right now because it's not fair until he gets in training camp and actually gets some reps and gets some preseason reps and gets to work with our coaches. We have no idea where he is, and too many fans out there are judging him when he was thrown into a game with no reps. He didn't even work with Caleb in training camp or mini camp or preseason. He didn't even know the cadence. So everyone's like, oh, he's slow off the snap. No, he had no idea what he was doing out there, man. It was just like throwing a guy off the street onto the starting lineup. It was rough. So I am curious.
Let me ask you another quick question, though, because there's a lot of people out here that probably take, and especially at first when it initially happened, it was Poles giving up picks and trading to get the pieces that he needed on the offensive side, right? That happened. And I don't know if anybody's talked about this yet, but I'm going to bring this up now while you're here. I wonder, and we're talking about the 10th pick here, I wonder, did he do that? And all of that's in relation to the plan that they want to do with the 10th pick. To me, I see Ryan Poles as a shaker. He wants to try to add assets and as many assets as he can. And I don't know that, do you see a player in the at 10? I don't know how many times you did your mock drafts, but I keep finding consistencies. I can't find a player at 10 that we have to have. I can't find a guy. Like, I keep finding a reason why if somebody's a buyer at number 10, why shouldn't you be a seller? Given the fact that you gave up a couple of assets to get what you needed to get on the offensive line. How you feel about that?
I think if we have an opportunity to trade down, it's a perfect year for that. This is a year where you're going to find first round quality players in round 2. And we already have 2 picks in early round 2. If we can somehow acquire another pick, even if it's round 3, I'm willing to move back because
it's the sexiest part of the draft, Swift, to me.
Yeah, it's 15 to like 50. So like we're right now we're in no man's land. It's just about, is a team going to want to trade up? And I think while there are some players, like I'm 100% with you, there's not a player that's going to be on the board that we have to have. Another team could look at a player that falls and be like, I need that guy. Maybe someone really wants Tyler Warren. Maybe someone really wants, if Will Johnson's still there, best corner in the draft. We don't need a corner. But if another team wants to jump ahead of the 49ers and they're like, look, I want to grab the top corner, that could be a deal. I could also see a team maybe coming up for Ashton Jeanty, but I don't know how likely that is. But trading down to me would be huge this year. It's a perfect year for that. The value is there.
God, man, I get to thinking about what they can get if they move back just a few spots. If it 18 ain't gonna hurt nothing, you know what I mean? I think people give too much credit to. I don't think they give too much credit, but there's a lot of credibility given to the guys that are picked in the top 25. They are stud football players, no question about it. But nobody can convince me, and you one of the people that's trying to look at the entire draft like me. Like when you look at enough of these players, then you know for sure that there's nobody that can't be. There's another guy next to that guy. You know what I mean? There's one like Abdul Carter is one of one, number one.
He's a freak.
Yeah, he's a freak athlete. Travis Hunter is a freak. Those couple of quarterbacks are their own guys. But other than that, you got a bunch of guys that you can find a good comparison to and get just as much production out of them if you look at the entire draft. And so I'm just pretty confident if they moved from that spot that they're going to be able to get a damn good player if they did.
Oh, yeah. At almost any position in need. Like if we need a defensive end, there's a ton of edge rushers. You can go through more than a handful that could be on the board if we trade down. Same at defensive tackle. There's a lot of guys who they might not, you might be questionable if you pick them way up at 10. It's like they might be worth it, but are they really worth the pick at 10? But you trade down and so many guys are on the board and it just opens up so much flexibility. I think that was their goal heading into free agency this year. Ryan Poles and Ben Johnson got together. They found the weaknesses on this roster and they've addressed pretty much every one. I don't remember going into a draft in the last 10 to 15 years where a roster was already this complete. Usually we have like 4 or 5 holes at least, and you're trying to fill a couple of them in the draft, and then you're trying to sign a couple guys after the draft, like the Yannick Ngakwe's, or, we always sign guys late in the year as well. But this year, we could legit go into the season with this roster, and it's not a bad roster. It's still a major upgrade from the last couple of years. And that's without getting our 3 impact players from the draft. So the position we're in is great. I know I've seen a couple people in the chat. They're still not too high on polls. And I get it. There's a lot of, until this team starts winning, no one's going to be happy because the record is what matters. But you guys all know we watched this team last year, right? They were better than our record indicated. It doesn't take a football genius to realize that. My mom could have been sitting at home watching TV and she texted me at one point, what the hell is this coach doing? Because that's how bad it is. That's how bad it was. It's really that bad. Like, and
man, I'll tell you this much, and this is not trying to, take any blame away from polls. People, I only know this because I had a coach that was coaching in Atlanta. He was just telling me stuff, man, and I just remembered it. And he told me, he's like, that relationship between the coach and the GM, the head coach and the GM, ain't quite what people think on the outside. And people think that Poles is just unilaterally making these moves and this is the best thing for the Bears. No, he gave nothing but leeway to the coach. And to me, that's the best marriage to have. If you have the right coach inside your building, you won't miss. You won't miss. You'll get the proper personnel because they know exactly what they're looking for. We got 2 grizzled D-line coach and an O-line coach, and I'm very confident in that. I know that they're going to tell, hey, this is what we need. Go target this guy. I know they know what they're doing. And Post is just going to basically take the grocery list and go buy it. You know what I mean?
We got some dogs on this coaching staff now. Guys like Al Harris and Antoine Randall.
I'm glad you moved the other direction because I'm not part of the polls. I can't be part of the polls. Street party, but I can be part of the polls. I'm fixing this shit party, and he's doing a great job. Them coaches look awesome. Antoine Randall has really taken that wide receiver group in Detroit and turned it into something else. I'm impressed across the board with who he's brought in.
What's Al Harris going to do with these corners?
That guy's
what's Eric Bieniemy going to do with the running back room and or offensive line? We can do this all day. Like this group of coaches,
crazy, man.
He's insane. I'm gonna throw this back to both you and Nomad though. So he just asked you about the potential of trading back. I want to know about the potential for trading down. Do you think that up, right? Yeah. So do you think that there's any reason for them to any player in that top 10?
There's 2.
Who do you think?
Abdul Carter or
Abdul
Mason
Carter.
Graham, but to me, they would have to fall to at least like pick 6 or 7.
I'd say Will Campbell.
Well, see, I was on Will Campbell. My thing with Will Campbell now is I just don't think he's a left tackle in the NFL.
You think he's a left guard?
And to me, it's like we got Joe Tooney, who's potentially the best left guard in football right now. So I don't think Ryan Poles is spending, especially I think we're going to extend Tooney. So I don't think he's spending the top 10 pick on Will Campbell unless they're for sure he's a left tackle. And it's not that I'm sitting here saying he can't play left tackle. It's that there just aren't any left tackles in the NFL with arms as short as his. And Ryan Poles, not only does he like guys with long arms, but he likes longer than normal arms. Like Karan has 36+ inch arms. Braxton Jones has 35-inch arms. So that's way more than the 32 that Will Campbell has. And he's not a broad. Sometimes you can make up for that if you got broad shoulders and you got that really long wingspan, but he doesn't. So it's like his wingspan is like 8 or 9 inches shorter than guys like Armand Membu. So to me, he's just a guard. And I don't think we're taking him. I like his tape. I think he's a good player, but if they're going to go left tackle, it'd have to be Kelvin Banks or Josh Simmons. And to me, Josh Simmons is probably the only answer. And do we really want to take another injured left tackle?
Yeah.
So to me, I'm looking outside of O-line at pick 10 right now, at least. That could always change. He's got it. Josh Simmons does have his pro day coming up. They expect him to be healthy, but he's still coming back from an injury and hadn't played football in like 8 months. So it's tough to me. So to me, it's Mason Graham is the other guy, right?
So let me throw a monkey wrench into that, right? So we just got ourselves some Grady Jarrett love, right? Didn't we?
Fire up your machine, though, man. We're gonna let the computer. Let's look and see. We're gonna do it a couple of times just to see if we can find some consistencies. But when you look at it versus talking about it, it's a completely different animal. Because you just fire up your simulator, man. Let's just see what it
Well,
looks
now while that's firing up, and as we get deeper into that conversation, let me ask you something going the other way, Swifty. We had a exchange a little bit a while back. You put up like the RAS score of like Shamar Stewart, I believe, which was damn near like a 10.
It was a 10. Yeah, he set the record. Like he defined the position is how the guy put it out there. Yeah.
Now, how do we, as draft prognosticators like yourself, or as fans like ourselves, not get too enamored with those RAS scores of 40 times or whatever the physical attribute is? When, as Bears fans, we watch some kid jump out of a swimming pool and that asshole couldn't play for shit.
Oh, we
remember him.
We remember him.
Right?
Remember Gilbert. What was his first name? Duran Gilbert.
There you go.
Man, sit your ass down.
Actual dogs and ballers who may be a little bit slower, in the 40 or not jump as much or bench as much. How do we identify the talent versus the athletic specimens?
Always on tape, I think, but more days now, NFL teams are looking for those traits and they are using analytics more. Guys care more about arm length. They care more about the 10-yard splits and the 40 times. To me, what you want to do is you want to see if a guy stands out like that. And for Shamar Stewart, it wasn't just that he stood out at the combine, but he was also dominant at the Senior Bowl as well before he pulled out of practice early. But so you see the traits, and then you go back and look at the film, and you can see him also. He had like 50 pressures on the season. He's wrecking havoc in the backfield. He's just not finishing. So as a fan, you don't want to get overexcited by those things. But if a team drafts those guys, it's because they believe that their coaches can get more out of them. Like they see upside, they see something that they can get more. They're like, we see the talent. And when you look at a guy like that, you don't have many athletic specimens like that in the NFL. He's the exact same size, ran the same speed as Myles Garrett. And it's like, oh, well, there's probably tons of guys who do that. But you look around the NFL and there's like 3 total. So having a guy of that size and that freakish athletic ability, GMs do get enamored with that. And he probably will get overdrafted. For me, I like the production and athleticism. Give me a guy who's an athletic freak or scored like a 9.5 like James Pierce Jr. did, and also had sack production on the field. I would rather go with a guy like that over someone that you're projecting is going to get better in the NFL. And that's why the NFL is still a science. GMs make these mistakes all the time. You'll see one guy will run a fast 40. And I remember the Raiders did it. It was probably about 10 years ago. I think his name was like Troy Williamson or something. He was like a 3rd or 4th round pick on everyone's board. And he ran like a 4.
You're talking about Clellan Farrell.
Clellan Farrell. That was the defensive end. I'm talking about the wide receiver they took.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, he ran like it was the same year. What receiver? It was, I think it was
from
Troy.
West Virginia. Is it the kid from West Virginia?
Yeah, I think so. Troy Williamson. And he ran like a 4.25, 4.3. They took him in the top 10. And it was like, what do you guys do? There was much better receivers on the board. And it was just, you see it all the time. Players get overdrafted due to their athletic traits. So for me, you don't want that. I look for something like last year when a player runs a slow 40, but you see him on tape and he looks fast, like Keon Coleman. A guy I like this year is Caleb Johnson. Everyone is like, oh, he ran a 4.6 40. He's slow. Like he hit 22 miles per hour. He just doesn't get there as quick as some guys, but he has that top end speed. So I'd rather go with a guy who runs a little bit slower and his draft stock comes down than go for a guy that people are overhyped about. I do get it though. People love those athletic freaks.
You were talking about the Iowa running back, right?
Caleb Johnson, yeah.
Okay. All right, let me ask you a question now. Now, this is going to, like, for me, if you don't ask me this question because it's going to be a long-ass answer. But I'm going to ask you, is there a guy that's like, hold on, man, that's this, like, give me, like, you've been watching some film, give me a treat that you found along the way that you're like, I can't get this cat out of my head. Like, it's got to be one. It's got to be one guy, at least.
There's a couple. Like, it's mostly on the defensive line, to be honest. There's so many. One of them's Kenneth Grant. Like, when I was trying to watch Mason Graham's film, like Kenneth Grant just sticks out. Right now, he's like a not supersized, like a freak version of Andrew Billings, right? Imagine if you get like a more athletic and younger Andrew Billings who has even more pass rush potential. That's kind of what Kenneth Grant is. And like everyone's like, oh, Mason Graham. Sometimes when I'm watching the tape, I'm like, Kenneth Grant could be better. Like, so he's such a player that if we ended up taking Kenneth Grant, I'd be super, super happy with it. Yeah. Man, the name it was Troy Williamson. So he was the Vikings took him in the first round in 2005. But the Raiders guy I was talking about, another one, Darius Hayward-Bay. We remember him probably.
Oh, I do, yeah.
It was another one. Like those receivers, they're the ones who always get. Like the Bengals did it with John Ross too. He ran a 4.2 and got taken super high, but
he's still in the league somewhere, floating around. John Ross.
I don't know why.
I'll tell you real quick, just real quick for the record. There's a couple guys for me. It's several guys. I ain't gonna lie to you, but one guy in particular, if I had to just circle one, it would definitely be Jordan Phillips from Maryland.
Oh, I love. He's a guy. He's like a work pal guy. Like every play, he's going out there on a mission. Like he's a good one. I like that one.
Man, he's a fork truck, man. It's like ain't no blocking that cat one-on-one. Now, here's the thing I've seen on film. If I had to give a criticism, you can see where he runs out of gas at times. This is an interesting conversation when I'm listening to Dan Rochar when I was studying him when they were not Dan Rochar, but the defensive line coach that we brought in. I was listening to him talk about D-line, coaching and how to get the best out of these guys. He's like, the first thing you need to pay attention to is how he said you can run them flat. You can run them flat. What he meant by that is you can give them too much rotation. You can keep them in the game too long, and you won't see the best version of that player. I seen on film, I had to look at the entire roster and see exactly what we're going to be talking about in the offseason. And when we're talking about getting another guy and why. And so one of the things I was looking at with Javon Dexter, especially when Billings went down, he was out there way too much at times. And you could see the difference in his play. Like when I normally would see a fresh Javon Dexter, break a double team and get a tackle, you didn't see a whole lot of that. They were moving him out of the way. And I was just like, he just in the rotation. They didn't do a good enough job of getting the proper depth on that defensive line. And pretty much every last one of them suffered for it. Every one of them. And so that's something I picked up, man. But this is what I'm talking about, in the offseason. Man, that guy, Jordan Phillips, has got probably the biggest upside of any D tackle I've seen so far in this draft. You harness that beast, he's probably not even 20 years old yet.
And that's how crazy this year's draft is, and why I was in favor of trading down. Because you mentioned a guy like Jordan Phillips, and he's probably not going to go in the first 7 or 8 defensive tackles taken. That's how loaded this class is, and that's a guy you could end up getting that's a guy you could just add to the roster if we end up trading down at pick 10. That's why I'm so in favor of the trade down, and I'm not beating the table for Ashton, Jeanty, or any one player. Because there's a lot of talent on day 2 of this draft. And that's a guy right there. I know you watch tape when you say a guy like that, because he's a guy who doesn't have a ton of highlights. He's not a guy that's media hyped. But when you turn on his tape, he stands out. Jordan Phillips is a guy, yeah.
Dude, that dude is a straight up. I've seen that guy. There is no blocking him one-on-one. I don't know if there's an NFL tackle or center strong enough to handle that cat one-on-one, man. You got to double team him. And if he's fresh, he's just going to destroy whatever you put in front of him one-on-one.
I really like Russell just mentioned in the chat Derek Harmon too, and I'm like torn on that guy with Kenneth Grant because they're so
What
good.
about Tyleek? No love for Tyleek?
Tyleek's like that was my second round. He's probably my personal favorite defensive tackle in the draft, but he's like the guy I want to take at pick 39. I would be perfectly fine if we left round 2 with 2 Ohio State guys. You take Tyleek Williams and you take Quinshawn Judkins or Donovan
Thank you for
Jackson.
coming to the show, Swifty. Thank you for coming to the show.
Hey, Swift, let me ask you a question too. Because now this is a different category. We can get into who we think is the best D tackle, the best 3 tech, and all that.
There's so many, man.
Yeah, it's too many. But who do you think? Now I know there's one name going to come right to your head. Most people are going to think one name. But who's the most disruptive 3 technique you've seen so far in this draft?
Disruptive 3 tech?
Just
probably Walter Nolan.
Ooh. I would say he's probably 3. Omar Norman Lott is a problem from Tennessee.
See, I don't know if I project him to be a 3 tech in the NFL. Maybe he can, but I think he could play either because he's got a strong lower base. But yeah, Omar Norman Lott's a guy though, man. He's always making plays. Always. I just don't see him. I don't look at him as like the prototypical 3 tech when I'm looking at that.
That guy is like, you want to see some insane. I'm constantly living in your damn backfield, and I'm playing in the SEC against the best competition. Ooh. That guy right there, I'm telling you, I don't know how they're projecting him to go in this draft. I'm telling you right now, somebody gonna get a monster. Yeah, I love the kid from Ole Miss, man, but I think he's got some. I looked at all of his stuff, man, and I just found inconsistencies. Not to say that he won't be really good. He's going to be really good, but I think the discipline part of it is what's missing with him. You can see his weight fluctuate, and when he gets tired, that cat stands straight up, and he just gives his pads to the offensive lineman.
And a lot of times he'll be like getting into the backfield, right?
Yeah.
But he doesn't have awareness of where the ball is. Like sometimes like the running back will be going right by him, where if he just stops destroying his dude and grabs the running back, he can make a play, but he's too into his swim move and beating his guy. And it's like the awareness isn't there.
A little out of control sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes. But that dude has got a high ass ceiling. He can be an absolute problem for the next 10 years. But he's going to definitely need a coach to help refine that thing that he's got going on and really like shape it into something. Like you talking about him, he's so obsessed with beating that guy off the line of scrimmage and getting into the backfield, he might be losing leverage and letting the play get away from him at times.
Or letting the quarterback step up right by him or something. There's just too many times where it's like he doesn't know where the ball is or where the play is. Like the run will be going away from him and he's pushing his defensive lineman or he's pushing the lineman downfield. And it's like, that's cool. If you're just looking one-on-one at his rep, it looks good. But when you're looking at where the ball went, so Walter Nolan was a guy personally heading into like the draft evaluation when the season ended like 3 months ago. Walter Nolan was a guy who was my number 2 defensive tackle and one of my personal favorites. And I was like, I thought when he got to the Senior Bowl, he was going to be dominant. And when we left the Senior Bowl, we'd be talking about taking him at 10. But it's not what happened. And then I went back and watched his tape after the Senior Bowl. And like the more I watched, the more I saw what we were just talking about. Like he has the moves. And I do think a coach is going to see that and fall in love with it. A GM will be like, look at these tools. Look at these tools. Like the upside is there. But when you go watch a guy like Derek Harmon or Kenneth Grant, you're like, they can do it right now. Like both of those guys are not only beasts at stuffing the run, but they also offer so much upside as pass rusher. And Derek Harmon is one where it almost looks like 2 different players on tape. You go back to 2023, and he's like an Andrew Billings. He's this big run stuffer, and he's clogging up all the double teams. And then he goes to Oregon this year, and all of a sudden he's trimmed down, and he's getting 50 pressures. He's in the backfield like every play. And you're like, oh, this guy can get after quarterbacks. So he's I think this is a year where just the defensive line class is just so loaded that Ryan Poles and Ian Cunningham got to be just sitting there licking their chops. Like
I'm going to find me a list of projected UDFAs and maybe we'll do a show together, man, and look at it.
We'll do it.
Because that is insane. The amount, like there's not enough guys getting drafted, man. And people see the name, the term UDFA associated with a player, and they think he's less of a guy. There's just not enough guys getting drafted. And somehow, some way, they need to change that. But while we're here, kids, let's fire up that simulator, man. Let's look at that. Because we're not gonna draft if you don't want to draft, but I'm looking for some consistencies, and I feel like I'm looking for some validation as to why I don't think we have to draft at 10. I don't know if we have that need.
Ooh, we use the NFL draft buzz one. I like it. I'm gonna grab a water real quick.
All right. So I usually use the PFN, but I thought for today's exercise we're gonna use draft buzz today. So while Swifty's doing the water thing, I think I should probably do the same thing. Y'all talk amongst yourselves. I'll be right back.
Run it up to our pick and bounce out. We can just look at that.
All right, I can do that. Boom.
He said, "Run it up,
and boom." So what's cool about this one, and this is why I did it, is you can just run right through the whole thing. And here's what we did.
Let's look at our draft. And we can just talk about that till you get back.
Oh, it'll like do it. Oh, okay.
You did the entire draft? I thought you was going to stop at 10.
This is the entire draft, my friend.
All right, we'll look at that while you go get you some water or something. We'll just talk about that. So they got, how the fuck did we get all the way?
I like it. I'll say that. I wouldn't be too mad.
People don't know about Aeneas Peebles from Virginia Tech.
That's the guy who stood out at the Senior Bowl.
Yeah, he's cool.
All right, you guys chop it up. I'll be right back.
All right, so what sticks out to you there, Swift? Triple R, whoever wants to speak.
I mean, I think if day 2 ended like that, I'll ignore round 1. Okay, look, I'd be happy with Will Campbell in this situation, right? You bring in Will Campbell. What I would do with him is say, give him a chance at left tackle. Let's see if he can do it with the shorter arms. If not, we groom him as our left guard of the future behind Hall of Famer Joe Thuney. So not bad. But then Tyler Booker. So then we're doubling down at guard, right? So then we got both of our guards of the future. But the steal of this draft is right there. Nick Amanawari. If he's there at pick 41, I'm moving Jaquan Brisker to free safety. Hopefully help him with his concussion symptoms. He's not up near the line of scrimmage anymore. And Nick Amanawari, that guy is a monster. I love him.
Look at down there at the bottom. I just did him Friday night. Kobe Hudson out of UCF. That's like he's Justin Jefferson. He's got that kind of skill set. And I know that's a big comparison, but check that son of a bitch out on tape, and you see what I mean.
I'm a fan of UCF receivers, man. Javon Baker was one of my favorite last year. I actually haven't watched too much Kobe Hudson yet, so I'll have to check him out.
Yeah, he's a dude, man, and we can't see what's happening beneath that. But I love the Nick Amanawari. I was like, when I found out who he was, and I didn't find that out until probably around I started cheating a little bit around 11th or 12th game of the season. I started cheating, trying to get ahead on my draft guys.
Yeah,
And I was just like, man, this dude is a freak. You're not supposed to be 6'4", 220 and moving like that. He is like you can imagine what Dennis Allen can do with he's basically a safety that can play linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
You got a lot of flexibility when you got this cat in your building.
Now, I'm sorry, waiting for Keds to get back. Let me ask you this aspect of it. Looking at the players that are drafted on the screen now, are there any that you would be upset with? And second part, are there any players in this draft that you would be upset if Poles drafted?
Only question I would have is getting Tyler Booker. I don't think we need a guard there. I think there's other guards there, and you could have used that pick for something else.
If you switch Will Campbell to James Pierce Jr., it'd be pretty much an A draft. Almost. If you switch one of the guards for a pass rusher, that's what I'll say. One of the guards has to be switched for a defensive end, but other than that, it's not bad.
Well, no, the question is what not positional value, but player that you think are overhyped, that from your draft or tape watching, that it's like, yeah, this dude is just all muscle or all beach muscle or all hype. That would be a mistake to draft in general.
I don't know if there's one on there. I mean, if I had to choose one, it'd probably be Will Campbell, but that's, and I like Will Campbell, but I'm just, when you're taking a guard at pick 10, it's a little rich.
That's very rich. And he's a good guard now. He's a solid, sturdy, well-built. He's got everything you're looking for in a guard, but
not Hall of Fame kind of guy.
It's like
he could be there.
It's like where you draft a guard right about now.
Yeah.
It's not the caliber of the player. It's about where you draft him.
It's when you think about it like this, is I would rather have, when you look at who we got in the second round, I would rather have Tyler Booker in round 2 or even Donovan Jackson out of Ohio State than Will Campbell. And they could probably be just as good of a player. So to me, I'm not taking a top 10 pick on a guard unless he's the best guard I've ever seen.
Russ thinks Booker's a blue chip player. He's got blue chip traits.
I love Booker. And that's the thing. I love Booker. And if you can get him in round 2, that's way better pick.
Yeah, man. I just like, me and the way here's the thing about, people like us that evaluate this stuff on our own, unpaid, non-professional people that we are, that just do podcasts and loves the game. I see stuff on tape that you might not see. You might see stuff on tape that I might not see.
Oh, 100%.
This is the way it is. Now, for every freaking player on this board, like the more I look at it, like Rocket Sanders, nah, dog, I'm not doing that pick. Like I know about 3 or 4 different backs that's going to be in that spot there that are better than him. I just think that was I don't know what people think about Rocket Sanders.
He's not even in my top 20 running backs, but the one reason I didn't hate on him is because I watched one game of Raheem Sanders and I was like, he's pretty good, but he's not a guy I was going to spend too much time. There's just too many running backs. I honestly think he's probably a day 3 guy or could even go undrafted even, but there's so many running backs, man.
I'm waiting on kids to get back, but maybe I need to take over right quick. And I like NFL draft buzz because when I'm doing a guy, like if I circle a guy, I'll look at, it makes it easy. Basically, it gives you a little bit of a bio, and so you can kind of cut out the middleman, and it helps you out there. But that's where I cut it off there. I'll look, like just say, for instance, if I'm looking at, South Missouri State, and I want to see how many of those guys are getting drafted. That's where NFL draft buzz comes in for me. Oh, they got 4 players that's going to get drafted. I ain't heard about this guy. And I start looking at tape. It's very, very handy, man. And I love this website.
I like that. It's not, their scouting reports aren't super up to date. Sometimes they're like a year behind even, but their player profiles, like their rankings, they'll give you the guy. You'll know what players are getting drafted for sure.
Okay, so Keds is back. Let's look at it again. Let's go down to
it again.
No. Let's go down to the last of our picks. We didn't get to see everything.
What were you missing here? I think just Brandon Adams. I think you probably missed out on at 2.
Oh wait, did we pick up? Oh no, that's just showing next year's picks. I thought we added a first rounder next year. I was like, oh dang.
Yeah, it doesn't look like they did any. Don't look like they did any trades this time around.
Somehow,
39, 40, 41, 72, 148, 22, 233, 240. Yeah, those are all our original picks.
Here's where it gets interesting. Let's look at the draft, the first 10 to 25 picks, and see who went where. This is where you find the consistency.
Yeah, this is not
Travis Hunter off the board first to Tennessee. Abdul Carter next to Cleveland.
Oh, Kelvin Banks at 4. Nope.
I don't think this is consistent at all. This is probably the
okay, but you okay? Run it one more time. Let's see what we.
I'm just saying this is probably the shakiest I've seen it thus far. But
Ted McMillan, I don't know what the fuck he's doing way up there. He's a good.
I think Ted could go number 6 to the Raiders.
I was just gonna say, dog. I was just gonna say, Swifty.
I think it can happen, man. I think he's good. I want him to go that high. Personally, I'm rooting for it because it leaves Ashton Jeanty and Tyler Warren on the board. I'm not a huge fan of him, so I'm with you, Nomad. I get it, but the scouts see the size, man, and he's a red zone target. So I'm hoping he gets overdrafted.
The Raiders can't pick another tight end.
When people talk about us drafting, I'm like, we already got him in number 15.
Yeah, Rome is a better T-Mac, honestly.
Yeah. So
no way do we take him. No way.
That's just crazy. You don't do it. You can't get another wide receiver not at that level.
Let's run this motherfucker a couple more times and see if we can find some consistencies here.
Yes, sir. Let's run it again. Reset. Warp speed. Ludicrous speed.
Damn, ludicrous speed, baby.
This thing jumping all over the place. What's all that?
You got some windows open in that motherfucker.
Nothing. It's all by itself. It's just the advertising going crazy. All right, let's
do some mock drafts, huh?
Maybe that. The 8 billion mocks that I've done up to now. Boom. Let's go. It's all right. All right, here we got a little bit of trade action this time around. So here's what we'll do. I'll go through the top 10, and then we'll look at the pairs. So Travis Hunter again at number 1, number 2 Abdul Carter again, Cam Ward number 3 to New York, James Pierce Jr., who we all love, winds up with the Patriots. That's an interesting pick. Mason Graham goes to Jacksonville. Shedeur Sanders goes to the Raiders. Kelvin Banks Jr. goes to the New York Jets. Will Johnson goes to the Carolina Panthers. Ooh. Will Campbell goes just before the Bears selection to the New Orleans Saints. And your Chicago Bears, my bad.
Oh, I thought we traded down and took Wyatt Milo.
And took 16. Okay. That's what I thought too. My bad. So we selected Josh Simmons at 10. So clearly Ryan Poles has not learned his lesson, and he really likes hurt people.
And Scrolls said he thinks Ted McMillan is better than Rome.
I don't.
That's wild. He you know what? He might be right, Scrolls, but that's a wild ass take right there.
I won't even argue with the take. It might be factual. I just don't think we should select him at 10 at all. Like, no way. You know, maybe we might be in the wide receiver market to some degree. I don't think we should be doing we should be talking about wide receiver in the first round. That's
earliest third round.
Maybe third, right?
Early.
Maybe at 72. I'd say much better if we traded down from 148, maybe found something in the fourth, you know? But here we go. So here's what the Bears selections look like, starting with Josh Simmons, followed up by your guy there, Swifty, Walter Nolan, you were just talking about. Tate Ratledge at 41. We got some offensive guard love. Followed up by Dylan Sampson, running back, 72. Pick 72. That's crazy. Interesting. Dylan Sampson. 148, we grab defensive lineman Nazir Stackhouse. 233, Achille Arnold. Safety.
Right there.
Okay. LeJohntay Webster, wide receiver. There's that wide receiver a little bit late in the game. 7th rounder.
That's our kick returner, baby.
That too. Yeah, he's fast. no trades again for the Bears in this case scenario.
I actually like this one, man. I don't know about the safety in the 7th. I haven't really studied him, but Tate Ratledge, I really like. I'd hope to maybe get him in the 3rd, but that's a guy who's going to be a starting guard for sure.
I agree with that. I don't like this particular draft.
Starting Harley riding ass motherfucker too with that mustache and that goddamn little hair he's got going on in the back.
He's got that mullet. He's got the mullet look.
That's the hockey haircut. That's what we call it in Canada. It's the hockey haircut.
Love it. All right, run it one more time. Let's see if we can find. You seeing any consistency so far?
I'm seeing them, and I don't like them. To be frank, it's weird. I think at some point I'm going to go back and do the do PFN because Travis Hunter it looks like Travis Hunter to the Titans is a lock, and that's just crazy. But anyways, let's do this. Do the time warp again.
I think you should go back to PFN, but let's run this motherfucker.
Yeah. All right.
See if
we'll give this sucker one more.
There's got to be there's some kind of reality to these mock simulators. It's just if you can find it, there's definitely some reality to at least a small percentage of it.
That tells you what generation we're in. We got a Spaceballs reference and a Rocky Horror Picture Show reference.
That's all just me. I'm dragging the show down. You know what I mean? I'm sorry.
He's bringing civilization to our meek and humble existence.
Boom. One more time. Let's go through the top 10. It's pretty close to be. It's similar. All right. So Travis Hunter, one more time. Sounds like, according to these guys, it's a lock, bro. It's a lock over here at NFL Draft Buzz. He's going to Tennessee.
That's the weird thing is the other site I use. Someone just said it in the chat. Sophisticated did. I used to really like the NFL mock draft database, or no, it was Paul Martin who said it. But that site, it used to be really good, but now every single one I run, Travis Hunter is on the board at 10, and I'm like, I can't even use it anymore.
So what site was it?
NFL mock draft database. They have a really good draft board, but in order to do a mock there, you have to almost ignore players because you'll get to the 2nd round and there'll be 3 or 4 players that should not be there, like guys that should go in the top 15. It's just weird. They have some kind of weird algorithm that isn't working. But their board is really nice. Like their draft board's pretty neat.
Okay, let's go back to the top, kids. Top of that list, you scrolling down. Let's go back to
interesting. All right, so
let's just see what makes sense for it. We know what these teams have.
Where the hell's Cam Ward? No,
Travis Hunter going to Tennessee. You got to go back up. Yeah, hold
on. I know, not at the top. He's not in the top 10, Swifty. But
that's
go ahead.
Crazy.
That is crazy.
Slow down. Travis Hunter. Does that make sense going to Tennessee?
No.
Given what they have.
No.
Does a quarterback make more sense to you guys?
Should be Cam Ward, Shadur Sanders, somebody along those lines, 1,000,000,000%.
I think they should take Travis Hunter, Cam Ward, or Abdul Carter. One of those.
Abdul Carter,
yeah,
for sure. Yeah.
It depends on how they feel about Will Levis. I'm not a Will Levis fan, so I think they should take Cam Ward. But
okay, so Shadur to that makes sense to the Browns, right?
Ooh.
Armand Membo, slept on guy. We were on him early. Armand Membo to the Giants.
I think the only way I don't think there's any way Giants do that.
So there's a little thing out there saying that the Aaron Rodgers might be looking at that place. They offered him a contract.
I would say if Cam Ward, there's no way Cam Ward's not off the board by here. But if Cam Ward was on the board, there's zero chance in hell
that the Giants would skip over.
Yeah, it's just not happening. Yeah,
that's true. I didn't even think about that. That's true.
Who's this guy protecting?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like
Aaron Rodgers.
Well, maybe
Josh Simmons to the Patriots. I guess that makes sense.
Sure,
man. Muka, oh my god, this is wild, bro. Landon Jackson, number 8. No, keep going down. Hold on, this is just wild, man. He's not going top 10.
Shit.
Yeah, top 10's a little bit of a reach, no?
Man. Like that dude is like man, I tried to tell people, man, like, that motherfucker right there.
I like him, but I mean, Jonah Savania at pick 11. That's never. He's a second rounder.
I'd pick him at 10 if I was the Bears.
Crazy.
I know.
I like him at guard.
We need some trench help, man. Mike Green. I just had a video on him today. You know, he's not a prototypical 4-3 guy, but could they be looking to get that curveball, that fastball?
I love his personality. He's a guy you don't want to count out. That's all I'll say.
All right.
Now, hey, if you added Tyler Booker and Ariante Ursary in round 2, though, our offensive line is set.
Oh, dirty. All right. So let's go through this. Mike Green, defensive end, first pick at 10. 30. No trades for the Bears. One more time. 39, Tyler Booker, offensive guard. Ariante Ursary at 41, offensive tackle. Pick number 72, Jacob Parrish, cornerback. What are y'all doing, man? We got cornerbacks. What's up with that?
Hey, Trapper said, stop it. He said, stop it. This shit ain't realistic. Stop it.
Well, I'm just saying. Jamari Caldwell, D-line, 148, followed up by safety Upton Stout, Western Kentucky at 233. LaQuint Allen, there's your running back at 240.
I love LaQuint. He's good. Hey,
So
that shows you the talent at running back. If a dude like that's available in the 7th round, crazy. I like Jamari Caldwell too.
Love him.
But this mock is crazy. You might as well go to PFN or something.
All right.
As much as I love NFL Draft Buzz, their mocks are out of control right now, bro.
Well, with a guy like LaQuint at running back, where do you think in a running back draft year that's not as deep as this one, where would he be projected? How much higher?
I'd say he's probably between the 3rd and 5th round. He could go as high as round 3, depending on if a team really wanted him.
Don't ask me. I'm gonna have to stick with what Swift said because it's just ain't no telling when it comes to these running backs. Really, it ain't.
Yeah, and running back draft value is always.
Well, when you look at, you got the top names. Your Judkins, your Jeanty, your Henderson, and another guy or two. That's 5 right there. How many teams are actually trying to draft a running back?
Probably a lot this year. I mean, teams need more than one running back, and you see how a lot of these older running backs are falling off the cliff.
Right.
I didn't
Don't tell that to Saquon though.
You letting the whole thing run? I was trying to get you to stop at 10 so we can.
Don't worry, you're gonna see your top 10. Don't worry about it. Just give me a minute. Just figure we go through the thing while everybody was sort of chatting about it, but we'll be done.
With that, the way that it's set up, though, I mean, what you're saying that a top 3rd round projected talent is going to fall to day 3 late or UDFA.
Well, I mean, we can't take the mock draft to say like for sure that's where he's going to go, but there's definitely going to be some running backs on the board. Like the guy it had us take in the 5th round, Raheem Sanders. I did do in-depth running back rankings, and he's not in my top 20. That's how many running backs there are, and they had him as a 5th rounder. So that just tells you there's a ton of running backs. Like a lot of it depends on fit. Like some teams some of them are receiving backs, some are short yardage guys. It just depends.
So now, would it be a surprise to you if, just hypothetically, at 10, Poles selected Jeanty for this Johnson offense?
It wouldn't. I think that would tell me that Ben Johnson really wanted him. And if Ben Johnson's pounding the table for that guy, and with the way this roster is set up right now, you take him. I mean, I'm not one to argue it. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say I want us to take Ashton Jeanty, but I do think he's a special player. And if we did draft him, I'd definitely be getting a jersey, and I'd be rooting for him for sure.
That's the bottom line to it is if somebody that's important, if the head coach is saying like that's the guy I want at 10, then that's who he's going to draft at 10.
Yep.
So this to double down on what y'all saying.
This looks very realistic.
So to double down on what y'all saying, I'm just going to say that the offensive minded head coach has sort of pushed the GM to fill all the holes to make it possible to draft a running back. I'm just putting it out there. He's kind of made it so that this is a possibility.
Well, to add to that though, if Poles wasn't diligent in free agent see over the last few years, we wouldn't have been in position to attack free agency like this and spend all this money. The salary cap had to be in order. If you notice this year, there's only a few teams that are big spenders. Teams that are big spenders, they got their quarterbacks on rookie deals. Patriots, the Vikings, the Bears, even the Panthers and the Commanders, all these teams, they got quarterbacks on rookie deals. So he set this up. Like it wasn't just and there are teams out there with quarterbacks on rookie deals that aren't doing it. Look at the Falcons, because they have Kirk Cousins and the salary cap's not in order. They're cutting players. And then you have the Texans too, CJ Stroud on a rookie deal, yet they're losing Stephon Diggs. They traded away their left tackle. So what Ryan Poles has done with the salary cap is extremely underrated. He put us in the position to acquire these players. Yes, Ben Johnson definitely was like, hey, let's get these guys. But hey, Joe Tooney, that was the Ryan Poles one right there. Now, Jonah Jackson, that's the Ben Johnson move. But Poles got us Tooney for sure, man.
No, I like the way you put that, because that's one little thing that I tend not to pay a whole lot of attention to, but I'm aware of, is how you manage that budget and how you tee yourself up to be in an advantageous spot. That is very fucking true. Glad you said that here, because that's one thing. Yeah, we couldn't do the shit that we did this year if he hadn't teed this thing up, and the management and the accounting department.
Yeah, if he would have spent big on, imagine if he would have signed big free agents. Like everyone wanted Jawan Taylor, who's been kind of a bust a couple years ago. If you would have signed Jawan Taylor or some other big free agents, we wouldn't have had the flexibility or the money to do this. So it goes hand in hand there. And I think people have to take that into account.
And also look at the mistakes that Poles has made on offensive line, namely in the name of Nate Davis.
He was able to get out.
He was a free agent, but $10 million a year, which by now is like pauper pittance, a paycheck. Look at that alliteration right there, though.
For the record, trips to see a bucket of chitlins for $3.99 and try to wait until that thing get on sale for $1.99.
Hey, as long as they don't smell rancid, they be out.
Would. Hey, Triple R would though. He'd be like, "Hey, these are good. I'm gonna have them cooking up tonight." I'll say before we get into this draft,
that episode of the Family Guy where he said, "I need a Jew."
Oh, yo, I know
that was a specialty for the cap situation. And is it Mr. Weinstein or Rothenstein or whoever that vice president of the cap is that is here now that Poles and Warren have brought in, is working with a good situation where there are no long-term contracts that are bad deals. Most of the deals expire before you have to pay, your quarterback if he's worthy. And so the way that he's setting up these contracts with the outs and the team options is a very smart, prudent, wise way to keep it moving forward and not overspending on free agents.
And on top, he's even switched up the process now for the first, because all of the contracts he's signed over the last 3 years have all been front loaded and no guaranteed money late. What he just signed Grady Jarrett to, backloaded. DOO, backloaded. Void years on the end of Grady Jarrett. So, but I agree with what Scrolls is saying down here. That's Atlanta. That's Ryan Pace.
Atlanta just had to pay Cousins a $10 million bonus for keeping him on the roster past 4 p.m. yesterday. That front office is an absolute joke.
Who's there? Ryan Pace. What was his special? Signing quarterbacks to big time money while he had a quarterback on a rookie deal. He did it. He signed Mike Glennon before
I remember Mike Glennon.
And then he traded for Nick Foles on a big contract too. So we never had that rookie quarterback flexibility because we always had another big time high money quarterback on the roster. It's just stupidity. And now he did the same thing in Atlanta. Let's sign Kirk Cousins and then draft Michael Penix Jr. Like, just crazy.
Let's sign Kirk Cousins to crazy money.
This is where I'm going, right? So Kirk Cousins, I'm not sure if the quarterback has made more money in the NFL. Like,
before you even do that, kid,
a lot of money, yo.
This is Ryan Pace feeling like that team was ready to contend for a Super Bowl. That's how you get in that kerfuffle with that contract with Kirk Cousins. How did you think that roster was ready for a fucking Super Bowl?
Well, the funny part about it is really what Swifty was just sort of putting into place. It's literally the Mike Glennon situation all over again for them.
Mm-hmm.
They went and they paid big money for a quarterback and then secretly drafted the quarterback behind the scenes because nobody really thought they were going to.
And he didn't learn from it either because he actually structured the Mike Glennon contract better where he could get out of it after that. He didn't do that with the Cousins contract. Like, what are you doing? It's all guaranteed. So it's like he didn't even learn from his lessons. I actually see people defending Ryan Pace on Twitter this week, and
he screwed up. He screwed up worse this time around. Like, and we were all like, "What are you doing with the ginger giraffe? Like, what's up with that?" And
it's two ways of thinking about a GM job. A GM is either be a college scout guy or he's going to be a pro scout guy. Ryan Pace was a pro scout guy. He spent all his time studying everybody else's roster and looking to who he was going to pay off of those roster to build his roster.
He wanted all the guys he missed out on in the draft.
Yes. And he's paying everybody else's talent instead of drafting them. And that's a money spending operation versus a drafting and trying to develop operation. That's the difference between the two guys.
And he was careless with draft picks. When you're not only are you trading draft picks for players like Khalil Mack, you're trading away valuable first round picks, but you're also moving up in the draft. You traded up multiple picks to move up one spot to take Mitch. He traded up to take Anthony Miller. He traded up to take Cody Whitehair. And then he traded an extra first to get Justin Fields. Like, you're just throwing picks away.
And that whereas allowed to support polls on what Swifty's saying there about throwing picks away. If you look at the picks that Ryan Poles has traded away, that second for Claypool didn't work out. But at the time, hey, Justin Fields needed some fucking weapons. Hey, let's get this this beast out here, bring him in here. It didn't pan out.
Diva that didn't want to play football.
He wanted to model and shit, be all pretty and shit. Look at him walk that runway, sachet. That didn't work out. That's cool. But then he gave up, picks for, Tooney, picks for Jack.
Set your ass down.
6 round for Montez Sweat. 2nd round, I had to pay him though. But he's being prudent with the trades of the picks. And something that he said, back when he started, picks, oh yeah, those come and go. So we know he's going to trade up and down because he doesn't throw around picks like they're invaluable, but he doesn't throw them out like they're manhole covers either. So he's willing to wheel and deal, play a little riverboat, not like Riverboat Ryan, but like, Riverboat Ryan. And, he's going to trade up. He's going to trade down. He gave up the pick for Booker, the 4th rounder to move back up into the draft. So we're going to see some fireworks going on. And we're still relishing off of the Panthers deal, for that number 1 spot. That's why we have 2 second-round picks this year because of the Panthers still. So, we're gonna see some shit going on. So the draft, all 3 days.
Did you guys hear about the controversy with pick 114?
Yeah, that's not our pick. It's not our pick.
I did some serious math today, and it ain't. But I was trying to find a way that it could be.
I tried, bro. I tried. That was the pick the Cowboys traded for Jonathan Mingo. It's not ours. The problem is, why is the NFL not corrected it already? Like, it's been over a week. Like, come on now. Like, at this point, you owe us a 5th round comp pick or something.
I agree.
You know what? The wildest thing I've heard so far, and I'm talking about in the last 72 hours, is people still trying to make the case for we can still trade for Trey Hendrickson. Like, that shit's wild.
The Bengals did just pay. It just broke. They paid T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. Both just got their extensions. 4 years, 161 for Chase. 4 years, 115 for T.
Oh, they're both paid? No way.
Well,
276 million total.
So their game plan is offense outscore every fucking body.
Yeah, that just broke. Jordan Schultz broke it 10 minutes ago.
Hold on, I'm gonna
So
pull it
what
up.
happened to Trey Hendrickson? Did they cut him?
Nothing. No, they didn't cut him. No, they're
On
not
the
gonna-
market.
I heard they're working on trying to get something done for him.
How much money they get?
I don't know, but they can. These motherfuckers can figure out a way to
$6.
get some shit done, man.
Well, you see what happened to San Francisco recently. You see what the Saints are trying to come out of. You know,
Yeah,
they
the
try to
Bengals
say
don't
the
have a rookie
salary cap is a
quarterback.
myth,
They
but you
don't
know,
have
the
it.
salary cap will bite you in the ass.
Bengals not only don't have a rookie quarterback, they don't have a fucking defense. They don't have a defense, man.
Well, exactly. That's why they get all that money on offense. So they got to go all youth on defense because all the money's spent on offense. So it's all about putting up points. So whoever's going to play Cincinnati, you got to get after Burrow's ass because yeah.
I'll tell you what, man. Let's get this thing. Let's run this thing one more time before we actually.
Wait, who did we get in this one? I didn't see who we got.
We didn't even go through this one. So here we go. So
That's a lot of fucking money.
Abdul Carter, Cam Ward goes to the Browns. Like this looks more legit to me.
It's more real. I still don't think that's a little high. I think Will Campbell better chance at 4, but this is way more.
I would have to agree. I think Shedeur Sanders winds up going here, but it is what it is.
Switch Travis Hunter and Will Campbell, and it's fine though. So they both go top 5. Yeah.
All right. Armand Mambu goes to the Patriots. Travis Hunter goes to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Yeah. Will Johnson, cornerback, goes to the Raiders. Mason Graham goes to the Jets. Michael Williams goes to the Panthers. The Saints select Shedeur Sanders. That's surprising. Kelvin Banks Jr. is selected to your Chicago Bears.
Ashton Jeanty to the Bengals. Ooh.
Caught that, didn't you?
Speaking of offense, yeah, they definitely wanted offense.
17?
Yep.
All right.
That's what got me. Like, if it was me, I'm trading. I'm like, dream scenario, y'all. I'm trading back and getting Ashton Jeanty if he falls.
Okay, let's see what we did overall. Let's see what we
have your cake and eat it too.
I like cake.
Let's see our final results.
Okay,
Safety, Xavier Watts at 39. That's a steal pick, yo. I don't really want the safety there, but if it's Xavier Watts, that's a steal pick. Caleb Johnson, there's your running back at 41. Move on to round 3. Round 3, we selected 72. Ooh. Eric Iomaner. Alec Iomaner, wide receiver.
Nope.
Yeah, like he's solid, but I'm not really checking for a wideout at 72. That's just me. We've got nothing in the 4th round. In the 5th round, we select Charles Grant.
Ooh.
And Mary, there's Nomad's homie right there.
We worked him out.
Did we?
Yeah.
How you know that? What in the
we did a Senior Bowl.
Oh,
at least met with him. I don't know exactly what they did, but
that dude's he's gonna be a beast, man. The traits there are unreal. The athleticism.
So I don't see us with anything in the 6th round. And maybe they traded out.
Okay,
no, we traded for
Jonah Jackson.
Jonah Jackson. That's right. Keandre Lambert Smith. There's your wide receiver again. So we doubled down at the wide receiver position. 233. And finally, a linebacker, Jackson Woodard, at 240.
Scrolls on Jeanty ain't falling at 17 without a manslaughter charge.
Oh, damn. Oh, no, that's not cool, Scrolls. That's not cool.
Oh, man.
Oh, man.
All right, we'll let this puppy run again. There he goes. Yeah, we got him this time, Scrolls. Just for you, Scrolls. Just for you, Scrolls.
You got Jeanty on that one?
You know.
We got Jeanty, baby.
Yeah, and this one we did.
I didn't see that quick-eyed motherfucker.
Hey, man.
Yeah, I didn't see it. Damn, that was quick.
How do you think these running backs are stacking up as far as not traits, but mileage coming from their, previous programs as far as usage, tread on the tires or tread used up on the tires?
I think your best one is Quinshon Judkins in that respect.
Yeah, Judkins fits that very well.
Mm-hmm. It was Trevion's show for the longest time until Trevion gets hurt. Now you get Quinshon jumping in, and he shows out, right? So he doesn't have quite as much.
Here's the consistencies I'm talking about. You can see consistently who ain't falling in our lap.
Can you imagine the Raiders taking another tight end?
And they did. That's crazy talk. And I said it earlier today. Like the one thing they can't take is a tight end. So that's a tight end in the second, tight end in the first, and now a tight end in the top five, like at
back to back years, top 10 picks.
No, that's 3 years, bro. 3 years in
Michael
a row.
Meyer
That's
too,
crazy. That's crazy. Like, I mean, Myers is in the second round, but
yeah, that's crazy. No,
that's crazy. So yeah, I don't expect that one to go down. That's going to be a little bit different.
You know what I think the most unrealistic part of these things is the offers that we're going to get at 10. I think there's some truth to a little bit of it, but like 4 or 5 teams, 3, 4, 5 teams trying to trade up to get. I don't know about that. Maybe
I think it's very possible the best offer we get is like a 3rd rounder to go down like 5, 6 spots.
Ooh, a 3? I mean, a 3rd rounder?
I think so. Yeah, I think it's very, unless there's multiple teams bidding, why would teams overpay to move up in a draft like this? Like,
there's going to be that world where Will Campbell or Mason Graham falls to our spot, and then that argument about whether we get a 3, 2, or whatever it is comes into play, because it's a lot of people that really think those 2 guys are game changers.
Well, just look at where we're at right now. Scroll up there, kids, to show us our pick. Now, and wait, slow down. Our pick. All right. Yeah, right there. So something happens and a quarterback falls to 10, and it's the last quarterback on the board, or last, one of these.
It'd be Shedeur,
yeah.
So that becomes very fucking valuable right there.
I think he can definitely fall to 10. The key right now is the Giants, right? The Giants at 3 are the team that would most likely take him, I think. But if they don't take him, or if they trade up and get Cam Ward, Shedeur's falling, man. I don't see any of the. I don't think Shedeur goes the Browns. I don't think Shedeur goes Patriots, Jaguars, Raiders, Jets. Like, the Raiders just got Geno, Jets just got Justin Fields. The Saints would be the only other team in there that might take him, but do they like him? Does he want to go there?
Now, what other teams picking behind would want him at 10?
The Steelers, 21.
All right.
Yeah, they trade to get up there.
Swift, you want to run at it?
Well, what?
At this mock. You want to run it or no?
Oh, yeah, we can run a mock if you want.
It's up to you, man. I ain't trying to put no pressure on you. If you
I'm
want
down for whatever, man. We're just doing it.
Swifty eats motherfucking breakfast for breakfast.
Love draft, bro.
Run your shit. I'll just be quiet.
On his pancakes.
I'll be quiet and let y'all operate. I'm gonna pop out right quick and pay this water bill right quick. I'll be right back.
All right, Swifty, we're gonna do the darn thing. You are on the
clock. Wait. Hold on, kids. Are we doing trade backs? No trade backs.
He's allowed to do whatever he wants. He's a guest in the building.
Let him
trade back.
I ain't gonna do no crazy. Go to the next. Is that the only one on there? One offer? The
Real talk.
I ain't trading shit with the Packers. I'm sorry.
FBB, motherfucker.
I ain't letting y'all get nobody.
That's what I would say too. So this is the only trade available this time around. That sucks. That's just blasphemous. And Ashton Jeanty went to the Raiders, just to put both of those things out there. So we're gonna do some real.
I quit.
I'll reset it, bro. Like, you didn't see me do it.
What happened?
I don't know.
There was a glitch. I think there was a glitch.
I didn't see anything happen.
It was the interwebs.
It was Oh damn. Okay, well at least you got some viable selections
what's
here.
The other one? What's the other one?
This is a nice little offer. Ooh, that's not bad either. 22.55 and 125. Those are the two that you're.
Give me the Cardinals one. I'm going down to 16.
Boom.
So you're getting 16 to 47. Then another offer.
2 picks
back. It gets too unrealistic. I only do one. I think it gets too unrealistic when you start doing multiple trade downs.
All right.
I'll do the one though. Pick up one extra pick. All right. Who's on the board here?
So let's just go through who's gone. So Abdul Carter's gone. We'll start with Cam Ward. This looks a little bit more legit. Cam Ward's gone to the Titans. Will Campbell to the Browns. The Giants got Armand Membu. Abdul Carter went to the Patriots. Will Johnson to the Jaguars. Ashton Jeanty goes to the Raiders. Shador Sanders goes to the Jets. Travis Hunter to the
Poor
Panthers.
Justin.
Yeah, I know. No love for Justin Fields.
Travis at 8.
Terrible.
That's crazy, bro.
Travis Hunter at 8 to the Panthers. Mason Graham goes
Listen, if
to
Mason Graham was there at 9, though, I'm trading up.
Mm-hmm.
One pick.
Ted McMillan goes to the Arizona Cardinals. I find that very surprising. San Francisco selects Michael Williams. Shamar Stewart is off the board, going to the Dallas Cowboys. Kelvin Banks goes to the Dolphins. Tyler Warren, tight end, Colts. Jalen Walker, linebacker at
we moved back since I was gone.
Certainly we did.
Yeah,
Okay.
I went to 16. I picked up one extra pick. I didn't want to do multiple trade backs, but I took the first offer. I think we got like 47.
That's how I trade down.
All right, so let's see who's on the board. Go down.
So Tyler Booker, Malachi Starks, Matthew Golden, James Pierce, Nick Amwari, Derek Harmon, your guy, Jihad Campbell, Jade Barron, Siobhan Ravel.
I got a real issue with who they're ranking as the top players on this board.
This board's looking a little off. It's a little bit better in the second round, I feel like, but the first round's a little bit funky.
So Josh Simmons at 25, Colston Loveland, Nick Scorton, Amika Ibuka, Luther Burden.
All right, go all the way back up. We took down.
Yes, sir.
I'm not going down there. Okay, so Starks is on the board. Okay. See, this is tough. This is where the Bears, they have all the options, right? Right now, I think with all the holes on our roster filled, we could pretty much go anywhere.
Yeah.
I'd probably be looking at Malachi Starks or James Pierce Jr. here.
Yeah.
You guys have thoughts on either of those two?
Dog. Like it's just how they set up the order of these guys. Like there's guys down there I think that are better than the guys up here.
For
Like,
sure.
Like Nick even Warrior. If you're going to get a safety, I'm not.
See,
like
if I take Nick Emanuware, you have to move Jaquan Brisker, right? Brisker's going to have to play free safety. Now, it could be a perfect scenario, so I'm not against it because maybe Brisker, you put him at free safety, he doesn't have those concussion problems anymore when he's not up near the line of scrimmage. But Emanuware has to play strong safety. That guy he's like a linebacker, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the question is, scroll back up, kids. Out of the two options that you mentioned, Swifty, of Starks and Pierce, Nomad, which one of those two are on your dogs list, if either?
Man, like Pierce, I don't know that he's a fit here. I think he's a stand-up edge rusher.
Yeah, he's a fit, bro.
245, he's a light ass, man.
He's light. That means he's fast, but he's 6'5", bro. He's light.
I know that is like neither one of these guys. I love Malachi Starks. If you want to draft the safety, just given the two options you just gave me, it's probably going to be Malachi Starks.
I'd still go with Nick Emmett.
But now, but out of Starks over Pierce, of course. But would you do Emanuware over Starks?
Yes, I would.
Okay.
All right, Swifty, what do you think about that?
To me, it's tough. My dream is probably that Malachi Starks falls to us in the second round. He's a guy who he didn't tear up the combine like Emanuware did. He ran like a 4.5 or a 4. I think he ran a 4.5 flat. So he's a guy who's a pure baller. And sometimes when you get to the draft, safeties like that will get undervalued a little bit. We saw it a couple years ago. That's what happened with Brian Branch in Detroit. He was a guy who most people had as a top 10 pick most of the year, and then he ends up going second round on draft day. And my dream is for that to happen with Malachi Starks, and I think he'd be perfect. So I do like Malachi Starks, but Nomad's right. This is probably too high for him. I do think he should go around here. This is a good spot on the board for him, but I think he's a guy who has a chance to fall because he didn't tear up the combine. People are going to watch the combine and see Emanuware's speed and how crazy of a freak he is, and he's going high. So I'd probably go D-line here. Derek Harmon's an option. James Pierce Jr. is an option. Is Michael Williams still on the board, or did he go?
No, he went just.
Whatever you do, don't look at. If you start looking at the position groups and start looking at the options in every one of those things, boy, you're gonna get all muddied up.
I'm taking my guy James Pierce Jr. I think coming off the bat, one thing that would be really good with him fitting for the Bears right now is Day-O is really solid against the run. So he's a guy what we need right now is someone who can get after quarterbacks. And James Pierce Jr. Yeah, you put him in on third down in that NASCAR package, he's getting after quarterbacks. And then you let Dennis Allen mold him into the defensive end he wants him to become. So I like that pick, especially if we can trade down and get him.
All right. So James Pierce Jr., you are a Chicago Bear.
Welcome to the Bears.
All right.
All right. We're at pick 39.
I won't do any more trades. I already did one, so I usually cut it off at one.
You can do another one. You can do another one if you want to.
I think we just get too many picks at that point, man. And it's
all right.
Too unreal.
Yeah, I ended up with 15 one night. It was fucking awesome.
It was awesome.
Loveland fell. That would be interesting. But I would have to take Kenneth Grant. Like, I'd be running to the board, turn James Pierce Jr. and Kenneth Grant on this D line. You're talking the top 5 D line in the NFL. And the depth that we would have, like, neither of those guys would even come in and be starters right away.
Like, I just did a video about, for the first time, could Dennis Allen get a guy that's doesn't have the traits as an edge rusher that he normally would pick up, like Dayo Odingbo? Could he get a guy that's like that pure pass rusher for a specialty player at that spot, or this spot right here? It's possible. You don't know until you know. He just hasn't had a history of doing it yet.
So we'll scroll down a little bit further down, but it sounds like you're leaning heavily towards.
Oh yeah, no. Since we got 2 picks in 3 spots,
you're doing Kenneth Grant one time.
Yeah, I would put in Kenneth Grant.
Kenneth Grant, you are a Chicago Bear, brother. Home.
I do think there's a situation where one of these guys can fall. I do think it's unlikely, but man, if Kenneth Grant or, like I said, if Malachi Starks, we're in a position right there where someone who's not supposed to be on the board is going to fall. And that's why I really like having 2 picks. I think the first one, you take whatever crazy player is not supposed to be on the board. And then the second pick, you come back and probably fill a need. And Ariante Ursari's sitting there. He's nice, but let's scroll down a little bit.
Who you think take the biggest fall in this thing this year? Who you think takes that L? Somebody always drops, man.
It could be Shedeur, man. Everyone has Shedeur going top 3. I just did a mock the other day, and I could see Shedeur falling all the way to the Steelers. And my key is what happens with the Giants. In mine, if the Giants trade up and get Cam Ward, that just sets it off where he can free fall, because I don't think he's a fit for the Titans. I don't think he's a fit for the Browns. Whereas if the Titans take Abdul Carter or something, Cam Ward's going pick 2 or 3. Like, either of those teams will take Cam Ward. I don't think they'll take Shedeur. I don't see Shedeur as that same class of quarterback. I like Shedeur Sanders a lot. I think he's a first rounder, but he's not quite up there with Cam.
Why you're talking about that? You know who I think takes is going to sneak up in there?
Who's that?
Goddamn Jackson Dart.
Oh man, I don't think he's a first rounder either. He might go in the first round, but I don't think he should.
I bet you he does.
Well,
I'll throw that out here right now too.
As we're looking right here on the board and you're on the clock, we were talking about earlier Braxton Jones. This tackle right here, Connor Lee Jr. Do you think he can be a starting left tackle?
I prefer Ursary in Minnesota. To me, Connor Lee he's like borderline. He kind of has like the frame of a guard. He's like more round and like you know how guards are usually they're usually the bigger guys, more rounded and stocky, and the tackles are more lengthy and athletic. He looks more like a guard. I think. Oh, did he measure it? Yeah, Ursary. If you look at Ursary, click on that again. Yeah, 6'6", 331, a 936 RAS score. He has like 35 to 36 inch arms. He is a Ryan Poles type of tackle. If we were going to go tackle day 2, that's a guy I would keep my eye on.
Have you checked out Jalen Travis from Iowa State?
He's okay. I think he'd be a day 3 guy.
Okay.
Maybe.
And that
I haven't
so
watched
that
enough of him.
he could be a possible coming in fighting for the starting job left tackle.
Oh yeah.
Whoever the left tackle, if we draft a left tackle, which I think they will at some point, that guy is going to challenge Braxton Jones.
I think that guy this year could honestly be. They're going to expect that from Karan Amagaji. I do think they're looking at tackle. I know two of the names they were interested in were Holland Pierce and Ozzie Trapilo, the guy from Boston College.
Mm-hmm.
Those are names I'd like. Man, Colston Loveland would be interesting here if he was still being on the board, taking a tight end.
Kez. Kez is going to fall into the Garden of Whedon after you said that.
Not me, man. I'm with it. I'm the only person who did it. I did it already in one of my mocks.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I got chastised by the whole bloody planet.
I will say I don't think there's any chance he's on the board. I think Colston Loveland is a first-round pick. I think he probably goes as high as the Colts at 14. But he's a guy who, if he's still on the board when the Chargers pick, his former coach, John Harbaugh, he just picked one pick before us. Like, there's no way the Chargers are leaving Loveland on the board there.
Sophisticated thought says, man, you got to go running back here.
Yeah, I thought I saw Judkins was still on the board when you were scrolling down. So
Judkins is there. He's available.
Judkins is there. What's his rank on here?
So you've got pick number 47 as well. So you kind of lucked in.
I forgot I had 47. Oh,
yes, you do. So Judkins is floating
I'm
around.
saving Judkins. He's down too far on this.
That's what I'm telling
All
you.
right, go back up. Let's see. I'm gonna get wild now. Okay, hold on.
Watch out now. Watch out. Da-da-da-da-da.
Well, actually, I'll just go ahead and take Ursery then. I would take my left tackle. That's the guy who could play tackle.
Ursery is a Chicago Bear. Now you got yourself pick number 47. We'll run through these here and drop them down.
No trades.
See if Quinshawn's still there.
Quinshawn's still there.
Oh, give me Quinshawn, man. I would have to.
Oh, Dad, you did that for Kez, didn't you? Because that's
man. Quinshawn's one of my look. If there's a guy, here's my thing with Quinshawn, right? People, when they looked at Ohio State, they're like, well, they got the speed runner in Travion Henderson, and then they got the hammer in Quinshawn Judkins, and that's how Ohio State used him. They used him like a hammer, and he even ran different this year. When you watch his tape in 2024, he runs where he's just looking for he's literally just seeking out contact. It's almost like Ryan Day was like, your sole purpose on this team is to wear out defenses. Where if you go back to his 2023 tape when he was at Ole Miss, he was shifty. He looks like Ashton Jeanty. He's juking guys. He's stiff-arming guys. He's still running guys over, but he has that speed and elusiveness too. So it's almost like Ohio State wanted to use him in a different role because they were so talented. Like, they're like, we got two of the best running backs in the country. We're going to have Judkins run people over. But then when it mattered most too, national championship game, Judkins, 3 touchdowns, carried the load. He had less carries than Henderson, but twice the yardage. Like, he's a dog to me. I just, and then when you look at, everyone says he's not fast, but the 40 time, it was a 4.42 for Henderson, 4.48 for Judkins.
No, I think Judkins was faster than that. I thought he was.
I'm going off numbers in my head. I don't have it anywhere, but I'm pretty sure it was a 4.48 for Judkins. But
if I didn't know no better, I could have swore you and Kez conspired over Judkins before this show.
We did.
I believe Judkins is. I think he's just quietly. That's Kez' son or something.
You're right. It's 4.48, man. 4.48.
Out of Pepe.
Oh, all over the NFL at this point.
I got him in my head, bro. It's a Rolodex in there.
I thought it was 4.38 that he ran. Either way, he came out a lot faster than I expected him to
still
come
hit
out.
like 22.5 miles per hour. Like he's crazy. Like, he's still, and is for a guy he's also he's 6'1", 220. Whereas
that's nice. Hold on. That's nice. But Scrolls is saying Judkins. What about his weight? Go back. What about his pass pro and something else?
His pass pro is probably his biggest weakness. Henderson's definitely a better pass blocker, but I will say this: it's not for lack of effort. Judkins definitely gives up his body and tries as a blocker. He's also used as a lead blocker at times in the run game. It just Travion Henderson was such a special pass blocker that, yeah, if you're in a pure passing situation, there was no reason to have Judkins in over Henderson. But I think people are taking that a little too far. Like, he can still pass block.
And
So
his
can
lack of
Ashton
short
Jeanty.
yardage ability.
I don't believe that at all. 3 touchdowns against the best defense in the nation in the national championship game.
I think because Travion, I've seen if you watch any Travion, that dude will uncork on a blitzing linebacker. I mean, when I say uncork,
his blocking is insane, and that's what I'm saying. Yeah, man. If you have both of those guys on the team, it's like, why would we put in Judkins to pass block when we got Henderson? But
right.
Judkins can do it all, man. He's a 3-down back. He can run people over. He's just as fast as Henderson, and he's 20 pounds heavier. Like, to me, he can just do it all. He's a 3-down back in the NFL.
But let me play a devil's advocate. And looking at the depth in this running back class in on your board, are there any lower school or later round picks that would be as or more productive than these guys up here we're talking about?
I don't know if you can say as or more productive, but I really like one guy on the screen right there, Bashul Tootin. You just went by him. He's really good. I love Ollie Gordon is another guy whose 2024 tape didn't match his 2023 tape. It's almost like he was saving himself for the draft and he didn't want to get hurt, but his 2023 tape is special. Like, Ollie's a guy who, if he goes in like the 6th or 7th round, it would not surprise me if he ends up being a starting running back soon. So I'd watch out for Ollie. Damian Martinez, another guy. He could come in right away. If we got him in round 3, or if he somehow fell to round 5, he's a guy you could pair with DeAndre Swift really well, because he'd be a hammer, and he'd probably beat Roshan out pretty quickly for that number 2 spot.
My favorite back in the draft.
Oh, who? D-Mart?
D Martinez.
Yeah, I like D-Mart, man. He carried that offense a lot of times for Cam Ward. And when you got a guy like that, it takes pressure off quarterbacks. That's why I want a running back.
This is Chicago, man. You want to be a physical running team, and that's how you want to put your stamp on the team. Like, I think Ben Johnson is trying to set the parameters up to do. You want to be physical. You want to be dominant, feature your offensive line, get the right running back that when it gets cold. I've been on the field with big dudes like that, man. Don't nobody want none of that when it gets cold. In Chicago, right off Lake Michigan, don't nobody want none of that, dude. I don't want
Brad Williamson is asking about Tootin and DJ Giddens.
I like DJ Giddens. Bashul Tootin's nice. I like him, man. He's a sleeper.
like Tootin too, actually.
That's shit. That boy
Giddens, another sleeper. There's just so many running. They're all good. Even the guy from Rutgers, Montague or whatever, he's a guy who, it's like, you watch his tape and it's like you see all the skill sets of a guy who looks like he's going to be really good in the NFL. And he's one of those guys who could surprise and be a lot better than the NFL than anybody sees coming. The other guy, LaQuint Allen from Syracuse, he's a sleeper. They got him way too low. They also, it looks like they got Devin Neal way too low. Devin Neal's probably going to go day 2. That's a 2nd or 3rd round pick right there, probably.
Yeah, don't be surprised.
He's the most skilled of all the backs. I think skill set, I'm talking about reading and reacting and being able to.
They're tripping.
He, like, that guy he's elite with his just reading the blocks and setting it up. Like, he's elite. He's not going to hit you with no 6.
He changes direction crazy. He's going to be a starting running back in the NFL, probably.
Man.
And I think they had Dylan. Yeah, they got him way too low, but they got Dylan Sampson too low as well. If you're looking for like a budget Ashton Jeanty, like if you like Ashton Jeanty, but we don't get him, and you're in favor of that kind of running back, Dylan Sampson out of Tennessee is that kind of guy. He's the same size, and he's really quick. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. He's a good player. I mean, I like Dylan Sampson, so another guy to keep an eye on.
All right, so let me ask you this phrase. In your running back room on your board, who are your number 1 Thunder and your number 1 Lightning guys?
Thunder's Quinshon Judkins, man. He's the Thunder, bro. I mean, you could argue. I mean, Caleb Johnson's right. I mean, 1, 2, 3. It'd be Quinshawn, Caleb Johnson, and what's his name? Cam Scatterbo. Scatterbo's a guy. He just doesn't profile. I question Scatterbo's speed. Yeah, I think he really did himself a disservice by not running the 40-yard dash. Like, out of every running back in the class, he was the one guy who I said I question his long speed, and he decided not to run. And I was like,
he ain't fast. That's no feature in his profile, but he's a thug. He's gonna pound it out with your ass.
He reminds me of LeGarrette Blount. I mean,
it's a good comp.
I think that could be what he ends up being in the NFL, is like a short yardage goal line back like that. Now, if he surprises me and he comes out with 4.4 speed, you never know. Like, I mean, he's going to get drafted really high. And that's how crazy this running back class is. Like,
you know what I think makes him so special? What if there's a special to, I think there's a special to that kid, and it's his contact balance, man. People just bounce right off that cat, and he just keeps on rolling.
That's what I see with jeanty, man. Jeanty just
him too. That is one of his specials.
He never goes down, man. Like, it's crazy what he goes through sometimes. I'm like, how did he not go down? Like, damn.
Like the best thunder and lightning combo that it's easily for me is Damian Martinez is that dude.
D-Mart's there too, yeah.
The lightning is a toss-up between like I'm high on the kid from TC, not TCU, but SMU.
Brashard Smith.
Brashard Smith, and then Travion Henderson. That's your lightning. You know, he's a little bit of mixture of both, though. You know, that's the difference between him and everybody else.
No, you nailed it for me too. It would be Henderson and Brashard Smith at that lightning. Obviously, jeanty as well at lightning. Strangely, Scrolls got him at thunder, and it's just because that kid can kind of do everything.
Who, jeanty?
Yeah, like, you know
jeanty
what I mean.
Could be either one, man. That's all. He could be the thunder or the lightning. Man.
Got crazy.
Can't show us the stats of the second kid from Kansas that you kind of
DJ Giddens.
No.
Devin Neal. Devin Neal's
got some special to him, man. He's got some like Marshall Faulk kind of agility. You know what I mean? Not the speed, but the agility.
All right. So now, with that said, looking at all these running backs, you're on the clock.
I'm taking Quinshawn Judkins if he's there at this spot, man. He's my guy, bro. As much as there's a lot of running backs, and it just kind of depends on your flavor. Like, the kind of running back I like is Quinshawn Judkins. One that can just do it. He has speed. He has power. He can run at the goal line. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. He's elusive. He can break tackles. He can do it all. I mean, he needs to improve his pass blocking. He's not if he was a little bit better, or he might have went to another school, he'd be in the talk with Ashton Jeanty right now.
Hey, Swift, who's that one guy, one of these dudes that you don't want to see in open field? He done broke loose away from the linebackers, and he's on your ass as a safety. Head up, you got to go deal with him. Which one of them motherfuckers you don't want to see?
I mean, Judkins up there. I mean, D-Mart, I would say D-Mart too, man. D-Mart runs hard like
that motherfucker right there.
But I would say one of the things I see with Judkins, though, man, Judkins could be like the pylons in front of him, right? And he's got a safety over here. Instead of trying to go dive at the pylon, he's going to try to run through the safety. He seeks out that contact, and he usually will run the safety over and still get the touchdown. And he's just a physical, violent player. And it kind of reminds me of like if David Montgomery had home run speed. Like, and that's where Caleb Johnson is I like Caleb Johnson a lot too, but he just doesn't have the speed. And it's like Judkins has it all. So I love Judkins, man.
All right. Quinshawn Judkins is a Chicago Bear.
That's my guy, man.
Hey, quick question. Let me ask him a quick question, because I haven't figured out how to get film on the network without getting dinged like a motherfucker. I can't monetize it if I don't. Like, how do you do that?
Oh, I don't even know, bro. That's why I don't do a lot of film anymore. I mean, that's the thing. The only way I was able to do it was short, small clips back in the day, but I haven't even done a lot of film breakdowns now. I haven't done one since in like a year.
It's like I want to do them shits, man, but It's like
Okay.
it ain't worth it. You know what I mean? I can just describe it to you and let you guys.
I
look at the film for
I
yourself.
remember there was a time I did one of my first Justin Fields breakdowns. It was like I spent like 40 to 50 hours on this video, and like I went to upload it to YouTube, and it was all ready to go. It said the checks went through complete, right? And then I set it for a debut, and it was in like 2 hours, and then boom, it got hit with like some kind of thing, and I was like, dang it! So I had to go back, edit that little part out, upload. Dude, it went through like 9 times. Like, and I ended up like having to hold the video for the next day and I ended up clipping out like 10 minutes of it. Like, and at that point it was like, I should just throw this fucking video away because it's not even worth it. But I put so much time into it. It was like, I can't. But so that's one of the hardest things about being a content creator. And one of the things I don't know how. I know some of the bigger channels out there, when you look at like what's the guy, Brett Coleman or whatever, like those guys show all kinds of stuff, and I'm like, I don't know
How do you monetize that shit?
I don't know. Like, then that's my thing. I'm like, I don't know. Are they not monetized? But then I get ads on it, so I'm like, it has to be monetized if I'm getting ads on it. So I don't know. That's one of the things that if we ever figure out, it'll help.
I got fucking YouTube TV, and I got access to all the shit that everybody else can get, and like I should be able to, since I pay for that I pay for that shit. I pay for that app. Why shouldn't I be able to use that shit on my YouTube channel if I'm paying for it?
Well, because that disclaimer that plays as the NFL Shield is going before and after every broadcast that says, "Hey, this is our shit. We own it. Don't use it, or we're going to sue your ass."
Oh yeah,
That
well, definitely anything from like the broadcast, yeah.
None of that. But everything is broadcast nowadays because it's all.
Well, no, the all 22. I mean, you get the all 22.
Damn near somebody.
That's
even that almost, because isn't that it's not NFL, or is that YouTube, or is that NFL, or is that another? Who owns that?
NFL.
So I think I got it figured out. So we'll the four of us will chat at the end of this conversation. You know what I mean? At the end of this show, I think I have some ideas as to exactly how that's done. Right, but yeah,
you at 72, homie.
You at 72.
All right, show me the board and let me look. Wait,
right.
refresh my picks here. Who we got so far?
So cool. Let's show you who you got. You got yourself James Pierce Jr. at the top, edge rusher from Tennessee. You've got a defensive tackle in Kenneth Grant from Michigan.
My goodness.
Got yourself a disgusting left tackle in Ariante Ursary. And you got yourself some thunder in Quinshawn Judkins, Ohio State.
I got 2D line. I could use an interior line. All right, show me the guards that are available.
Wait, how many more picks does he have remaining?
He has 1, 2, 3, 4, I believe. So 72, 148, 233, and 240.
Right.
Ooh. Let's see.
So you wanted to look at offensive guard.
Oh, okay, Dylan Fairchild. All right, hit centers and tackles too.
That's actually that's exactly what you need to do, because Jared Wilson is still available.
Yep.
And he's the top center in the draft.
I would take Jared Wilson right here.
You sure?
Oh yeah. We need someone to back up. As much I love Drew Dahlman, I think he's going to be a stud on our offensive line. But in order to keep this thing going, we have to continue adding to the trenches. Remember, Drew Dahlman he only played 9 games last season, so if he gets hurt again this year.
And when is his contract up?
We got 3 years, so
okay.
Jared Wilson,
safety,
center, baby.
Okay.
Boom. Jared Wilson is a Chicago Bear.
Offensive line being addressed after defensive line and running back have been addressed. Nice.
It always makes me sad when 2 particular players go off the board. The first one is Savion Williams, and the second one is Rashard Smith. But
I like Malachi Moore, who went the pick before. Oh, look at Jonah Monheim was on the board. I could have taken him here. Nope. Sorry, Jonah.
Are you familiar with the Savion wide receiver, Swifty? Any thoughts on him?
From where?
Savion Williams.
From where is he from, kids?
I couldn't tell you, but we're going to find out. He's from TCU.
Oh, save. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I haven't done a bunch of tape on him. It's not a huge wide receiver year for me, but
Mhm.
I've watched him play in games. He's a decent player.
Okay.
I haven't
Because
studied
Kez
it.
has us sold on him over here on these
Okay,
parts.
yeah. No, I haven't studied his tape hard or anything yet.
That motherfucker's a beast.
Been in the trenches this year. It's the year of the trenches.
So you haven't done much. What is that? Quarterback, wide receiver, cornerback study.
No, I ain't touching those. I have watched a little bit of wide receivers, but corners, nah, there ain't no need really either. I really like Jamari Caldwell. He's a sleeper. You guys haven't seen him. Big defensive tackle out of Oregon.
Did him on the channel probably 3 weeks ago, at least 3 weeks ago. Yeah, right before the combine, and they interviewed that motherfucker.
Oh, nice. Oh, look at D-Mart still there.
D-Mart is still there. Sorry, I'll keep going down, give you a good look.
Riley Leonard,
Elijah Roberts. Ooh.
Riley Leonard is a sleeper. Ty Robinson is a sleeper. He's probably off the board by now, though.
And I've seen him fall in some. They're crazy.
Oh shit! I thought Rashawn
about
Smith
Ty
was
Robinson?
gone.
No way Dylan Sampson would still be there. They're crazy. See, now I shouldn't have taken Quinshawn. This board is whacking on me. This one's crazy. Who they got at? Is there a safety left?
Let's look at safety standalone.
Round 5.
I hear you, Brad Williamson. Rock Taylor, he's decent.
Rock Taylor, baby. Now, I was hoping Billy Bowman would be there, but nope.
Ooh, no, he's gone.
He has no business being there, I'll tell you.
Man, yeah, nah. All right, go to wide receiver.
Keaton Crawford. Oh my God, this is a rich ass draft. Let me shut up. It's not my show. Let Swifty do his thing. Let me shut the fuck up.
Man, you could have been all up in it, bro.
I don't want to be in it.
Do that little. I'd take Dante Thornton. Give me the speed.
Yeah.
Wait, keep scrolling real quick, a little bit on that list.
I like Jimmy Horn too.
The names.
I like Dante Webster.
Hey, isn't Lambert Smith? Isn't that your guy, Nomad?
Who?
Go back up a little bit, Kaz. Lambert Smith.
Oh, it's slot receiver de jour. If that's what you're
Auburn kid, yep.
If you're looking for a slot, that's that. He's one of them motherfuckers.
All right, so
I like Caden Prather too, man.
Yeah. Oh, he's a problem.
He is.
Did the other Maryland receiver get off the board? What's his name? Fuck is his name? There's another receiver. They got probably the best 1-2 punch in the country.
Yeah, he's gone. I don't see anyone else from Maryland.
There
was Rod Taylor.
Number 10, I know that.
Yeah. Oh, Jamiri. There's some good receivers.
You looking for a slot here?
I was more thinking just for the home run speed of Dante Thornton. If we got Zacchaeus on the team now, so I'd probably be going upside at this point. Oh, tight end though.
What about tight end? Yeah,
I am a fan of Leitchi. He never really broke out at Iowa like I thought he would.
I got a couple of Nick Nash in here.
The Georgia tight end.
I gotta check out his Jalen Conyers from Texas Tech. That motherfucker can do anything. Quarterback, wildcat, tight end, running back, anything you can do with it. And he's 270 pounds. That's a
9.21 RAS score.
Yeah,
260. That's crazy.
I'm telling you, this by like when I was talking about some of the guys that keep standing out to me on film it's the kid from Maryland. It's this guy's one of them, and good Lord, man, I can't get enough of watching his. Like you can really weaponize your tight end position.
Yep, I do love. Someone in the chat mentioned Terrence Ferguson. He's way gone, but I do like him. He's a stud. Ooh, I don't like the way this board fell. I'll go ahead and take that tight end. Take Conyers.
Oh yeah, all right.
It's too much athleticism, man.
Kids,
Jalen Conyers is a Chicago Bear.
Kids, I would advise you to turn on them goddamn. If you don't do nothing but look at the highlights, you'll see what I mean.
Check out Jalen Connors.
Yes.
Yeah.
While the next draft pick is loading here, Swifty, what is your thoughts, expectations of Zacharias, our new wide receiver that we just signed?
Zacchaeus?
Got upside. What is he do? Good, bad, and then different?
He's a good slot receiver, man. He knows how to get open. He does not like the fastest guy in the NFL, but he has speed. He knows how to run routes. He has good hands. And for a guy who's 5'8", he can block. The Eagles trusted him to block. The Eagles actually had him block more than they had him run routes his year there. Like in the last 4 years, he's had like 500 yards 2 of the last 4 years, and the other year he had 400. His year with the Eagles, he did like nothing. He had like 150 yards receiving or something, but he had the same amount of snaps. They just run the ball so much, and it's like, I can't believe they were running the ball that much with a 5'8" receiver out there, but they did, and they had him run blocking. So he's at least if he's good enough to do that for the Eagles, he's clearly better than Tyler Scott as a blocker, and that's big.
You wasn't here when we was having this conversation, I don't think, and we were talking about the difference between them. You're talking about a professional. This is his trade. Like this is like you're a drill press operator. You're really good at drill press operating. This guy's really good at slot receiver. He's got everything in the route tree. He can do anything. He can really function in the middle of the field and make himself open. He's really good, man. He's probably one of the more underrated slot receivers out there, as opposed to Tyler Scott, who's developing, and he's nowhere near that.
Yep. He's never going to be Keenan Allen and get you 1,200 yards in the slot. But to get 500 yards and pick up 20 to 30 first downs on the year and be a reliable check down option and on third downs, he's going to help out. I think he's going to be a good player. But we still would probably need to add another receiver late because we only got him for a 1-year contract. But I think our receiver room is so stacked with DJ Moore and Rome Odunze. Like, people are down on Rome from last year. You guys, they're forgetting how much talent he has, man. Rome is going to be a stud.
Who's down on Rome, man? I ain't heard no shit like that.
No, man, people are out there. It's true, man.
Everybody.
Swifty's right.
Everybody.
Yeah.
They're saying, I mean, half the people say we should have taken offensive line. The other half say we should have taken Jared Verse. The other half are saying we should, and then the rest are saying we should have taken Brian Thomas Jr. They're like, Brian Thomas Jr. way better.
That's the thing, though, people. Look, if we take an offensive lineman and not a wide receiver, you're complaining that we don't have any wide receivers. If we take a wide receiver and not offensive lineman, you're complaining that we don't have any offensive linemen. So you're going to complain about whatever we don't have. And it looks as though we are filling those holes. So
now what are they going to complain about?
Well, there's come on, don't ask
you know we will. You know we will.
Don't ask that question. Come on, you know they'll find something.
They will find something.
Well, I gotta find that, man. I don't really see nobody talking no shit about.
I was pissed off. It's like good old Twitter, man. I was definitely a little bit angry about it. I kind of
we honestly should just be like Nomad and stay off Twitter.
It's a smart move.
That's probably what it is, then.
Yeah.
That's probably exactly what it is. Staying off Twitter.
It's a smart move because, like I say, I saw it out there and I was like, really, folks are down on Rome. Oh, okay. Well, I'm hinging that both Rome and DJ have a pretty close to breakout season this time around. I think things are going to look quite differently, mainly because, again, the Pro Bowl wide receiver, potential Hall of Famer, sitting in the middle of the field.
But Caleb's got to make everybody live. So it doesn't work. Like if you've got Olami Zacchaeus at slot, you got to really right off the top use him as a pivotal point, or the tight end, whoever it is at starting that tight end. Use those two guys to open up the field for the rest of these guys. So Rome and DJ become way more important because you need to key in on these guys on the interior of the passing attack. The running backs and all those guys that fold into that shit, you need to make sure all these guys are live weapons that you need the game plan for so that Rome and DJ can be the weapons that they are. And so however people feeling about Rome Odunze, understand the circumstances.
Yeah.
All right, and also circumstance scrolls DJ in the slot. What are your thoughts about that, Swifty?
Oh, DJ can play everywhere, man. And I don't think he is a slot receiver. DJ is more like he's a Stephon Diggs, but built like a running back. Like that's DJ Moore. You can use him anywhere. I mean, he could be an X receiver, he could be a Z, he can play in the slot. The key to me is getting the ball in his hands. That's what you need to do. He's a player who's better with the ball in his hands and needs touches. He's a guy you feed the ball to. So, I mean, yeah, you can use him in the slot, but you don't ever just relegate DJ Moore to a slot receiver. Maybe when he's 31 or 32 or something, but no, right now he's a featured weapon, in my opinion, one of the best in the NFL.
Those cats are going to have to connect. What happened last year, it's got to get different. They've got to find some symmetry. DJ his deep ball tracking ability. Remember when Pose was talking about why he brought him here with Justin with that deep ball and his deep. That's so real. You can see that on film when he was in Carolina. Like that guy, that's his real skill set. Like especially if a team is sitting in a zone, he'll beat that corner off the ball and find that hole between that corner and that safety. And all you got to do is get the ball to him on time. He'll do the rest. Like DJ is a big play receiver, and slot ain't really his role, but it's about those two having that connection. So whatever happens from this point on, I just hope that they find that symmetry between them, because it's just like there was so many big plays waiting to happen between them. It just wasn't there, though. It just wasn't there between them. The symmetry wasn't there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, DJ's just a stud. I think he's underrated, and him and Rome are they're up there with the best 1-2 punches in the league. I mean, you look at Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, and they might not be quite on that level, but Rome Odunze he can be just as good as a T. Higgins, and DJ he's probably not as good as Jamar Chase, but he's still a top 10 receiver.
He doesn't have nowhere near as good as hands as Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase is
Chase is on another level. Yeah, that's why I'm saying that's a duo that's definitely better than them. But when you look around the NFL, there aren't many other 1-2 punches better than Rome Odunze and DJ Moore. I think they're going to be legit.
Outside of Keenan, who's the guy that you saw in the offense? You're probably going to say Rome. You start to really see some stuff grooving at the end, like towards the middle or the end. You start to see them trying to find each other, but they were missing each other at the same time. Like outside of Keenan, it's hard to find that guy on the team that like Caleb was like they were starting to gel. Like outside of Keenan, who was it?
Man, I'd say you started to see it a little bit with DJ. I kind of felt like DJ was kind of like an odd man out last year. Like DJ is a guy who should be a featured target in an offense, and it was like we wanted to feature Keenan Allen.
Well, that's what happened. He's a Pro Bowl receiver in the middle of the field. You're gonna target that guy. He's gonna catch the ball too. You can guarantee that. But well, no, he did pretty well. Like I gotta give him his respect. But
he had more drops than you want to guarantee.
That's because he got more targets than everybody else. And
after he got back on the field healthy. So
you know what else too? Another thing to fold into that is, Keenan was brought here to be kind of Caleb's confidant. Like you're the security blanket for him. You would expect that to be the tight end, but it wasn't. It was Keenan. It's like Keenan was the one on the sidelines over there trying to coach him up and trying to make sure he keeps in the right headspace and all that. You can see all that stuff going on the sidelines. And so he just really trusted Keenan. He relied on him. And Keenan not being there next year, he's going to have to find that guy. And whoever
he's going to have to find the rest of the guys is really my hope, right? So I'm hoping
and it won't be DeAndre Carter either.
It won't be. I'm hoping that again it lights up a little bit more love for Cole Kmet in the center of the field. It lights up a little bit of love for Olamide Zaccheaus again in the center of the field in that slot position. Plus with that blocking capability, that intrigues me. But most importantly, the other guys on the wings, on the outside, they're going to have to be so much more involved. And this new offensive line is going to give them that time to do so. But most importantly is layering in the running back with all this. Once you layer in the running back now, you're going to have a little bit more requirement for 8 in the box. right? A little bit more of a requirement. Last year, we just couldn't get anything done on the ground. But now you got a couple more guys in there, or like a couple more guys in the running back room that can actually get the job done. Folks are going to have to pay attention to that, which will then open up the passing lanes for DJ and Rome. So I'm with it, and I'm hoping they grab one of these guys that we've been sort of talking about here today: Jeanty, Judkins, Travion.
They're gonna get 2 or 3 that we've been featuring around here. I think so. And early or late, they're gonna get 2 or 3 of the guys that we've been featuring over here. But Swift, one more thing before you get this 233.
Oh,
what do you think about like Cole Kmet? I always thought the world of him. He sucks as a pass blocker, or he sucks as a run blocker too. But like, how did that guy? I don't know what the fuck happened, but somehow that guy got left out of the fold. How did that happen? Maybe it was just the style of the offense and who they wanted to feature when when the first coordinator was here versus the second one. It didn't fare any much better when Thomas Brown was a coordinator. What the fuck happened there?
I think it goes back to Keenan Allen and with Shane Waldron. I think Shane Waldron, as much as I do think Shane Waldron is a good X and O guy, and I think that's part of the thing that got lost. He just wasn't able to translate whatever he had. It didn't work with what we had. And I think he tried to force not only Keenan Allen to be the check down guy and like hey, this is the quarterback's best friend, but he tried to make Keenan Allen our whole offense. And he kind of forgot about Cole Kmet. He forgot about DJ Moore through long stretches. He would go games where Rome Odunze only got 1 or 2 targets, and it just didn't make any sense. And when you look at Cole Kmet, it's puzzling. I don't know. I like Cole Kmet. I was really high on him a couple years ago. I definitely think he's a better player than we saw last year, but this is where it's telling because Ben Johnson's a former tight end coach, right? He's a guy who, when the Lions had TJ Hawkinson, Ben Johnson was there, and he must have told the GM, let's trade TJ Hawkinson and let's get Sam Laporta. So tight end matters a lot for him. So to me, I'm completely in the air on it right now. It's like, what does Ben Johnson think? If Ben Johnson looks at Cole Kmet and he's like, I can get so much more out of Cole Kmet, then I think we're going to see an awesome Cole Kmet this year. But I do think there's also a possibility that maybe Cole Kmet's not the tight end he wants, and one of our first 3 picks in that case would be a tight end. So a month from now, we'll know. But right now, I'm kind of 50-50 on Cole Kmet. I don't know what to expect going forward because I do think he's a good tight end. I think he's starting caliber. But if Ben Johnson says, I need a better blocker at tight end, or I need someone more athletic, if he needs something different, and that's the thing. What does Ben Johnson want? If it's not Cole Kmet, then sorry.
You know what I think is going on, Swift? I think he's been here too long, bro. And he's been through too much shit.
He needs to stay off CHGO, I'll tell you that much.
I think he's been through too much shit, man. I think he's seen enough. And he's gotten to the point, like, I've never seen this version of Cole Kmet since I've been following him. He got to a point in this season where he was just like, fuck it all.
He might have been fed up. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like when you get a player like that, there's experience, what he's experienced and going through the different changes that, he shouldn't have had to deal with the shit that he's had to deal with, man. There's been no consistency, no continuity, all the talk about, having to deal with different coordinators and different schemes. He's had to deal with all that. He's got to learn something else again. I'm not excusing Cole Kmet, but I can tell when a guy's had enough. And
I think we saw a little bit of that with JJ as well. Like the 2 guys that have been here the longest, man, they're just sick of it.
Well, let's just play it out a little bit hypothetically. If, let's say, Coach Johnson says Cole Kmet is somebody we can do without Ryan Poles, what other teams around the league would be interested in Cole and his contract? And then hypothetically, what compensation will we get for him?
Kansas City, here I come.
Oh,
Mm.
I don't even know. I mean, that would be you'd have to find the right fit, but I don't think he's going to get a first or second round pick. We'd probably be looking at a third, fourth, or fifth. We were not going to get anything crazy just because we wouldn't have leverage.
So
That's
Kansas City for a third.
Cool.
Probably less than that.
Yeah, probably a fourth round pick is probably about as high as I think he's worth. He need like unfortunately not with last year's stats, right? Like he needs a reclamation year in order to get something viable for him in trade.
Ben Johnson was like, let's go out and get Cole Kmet to the Pro Bowl this year and up his value. He could probably do that. And then you never know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right.
Caleb ain't no check down guy. Yeah, that's true. He's not a check down guy, but the whole thing with Cole Kmet, I think, is totally separate from Caleb, the offense, and everything that went on. I think I seen guys that you could tell. All you had to do is go back and look at the ending, like the last 2 or 3 games when Cole said, I've seen enough. I had enough. I'm just over it. I'm ready to get this thing over with. When I heard that, that's a guy that's telling me I'm ready to get me somewhere. Just get me the fuck out of here because I'm tired of trying to make excuses for this shit. He's sick of it. And I don't blame Cole Kmet. If I was in that building, I'd probably be somewhere in that neighborhood.
Honestly, I don't blame him for a second. He's been through 2 of the worst seasons ever, and the ones before that weren't particularly great either. Right? Like I'm just being real. He sat through some very painful times here during his tenure.
It has to be hard. You have to think like not only is he dealt with the losing, but the malpractice of head coaches, the guys who are supposed to be like your bosses and your leaders. And he went through Matt Nagy.
Who drafted that guy?
Who drafted him? Pasted.
Okay. I forgot that, man. That's got to be crazy.
Remember, he's the Adam Shaheen replacement.
Yeah. So he was here with Mitch Trubisky as his quarterback, right? His first year. He had Mitch Trubisky and Nagy, and Nick Foles was on that team. And then the next year, we sign Andy Dalton, draft Justin Fields. He goes through all that shit. And then his coach gets fired. His GM gets fired. A whole new people come in. And it's Eberflus and all them. And then he fights through it, earns a contract extension, and then had to deal with Eberflus's malpractice last year. And it's like, at that point, he's like, what the fuck am I doing? That made him question his life out here. I question his life decision.
I want to ask you guys, is that understandable to you all? Because to me, it's totally understandable.
Yeah. I think the public view of it is different, but from where I sit, if it sucks, man. You know what I mean? I don't know what to tell you. He's definitely been the guy to put the brave face on and have that positive conversation.
Yes, I give him credit, kids, because
you have to.
Man, come on, dog.
I mean, well, if you look at it from the perspective of how many games did we see go by where he didn't get any targets? Then he got a few targets and he was able to capitalize on them. Then he went back to getting no fucking targets. So he's been part of a bad organization, looking at us Bears, and, malpractice in the way that he's been coached or not been coached, and the game plans or not game plans because of the fake ass offensive coordinators that he's been under. He's earned that money. What is it? JJ and Kmet are the only 2, I think, pace players remaining now that Scales is gone.
So they've been here for 4 years, right, Trips? And in my opinion, we don't deserve Cole Kmet at this point. Well, I would just say thus far. Who knows what's going to happen this year? But to this point, I don't think we've done anything to deserve Cole Kmet. I think he's a quality football player. Well,
but not to put him in the Hall of Fame just yet. He still has his issues with the blocking. He will drop a pass out there, and I don't know how many times he's run the wrong route, or the quarterback is looking for him someplace that he's supposed to be. That's happened way too often to be professionals as well. So if he's upgradable, cool, he can be gone. And, so whatever Coach Johnson needs is what Coach Johnson gets.
Brad Williamson just started the shit. Talking about Tevin Jenkins.
Oh,
Drafted here to be Justin's protector at left tackle. Ended up being left guard, right tackle, right guard, and everything else. Been through enough shit. It's time to go, right?
man, there's more changes after the other. Can we let the kids play and have some mental stability and the consistency going forward? But all these changes and over here and over there, versatility is good, but damn.
Man, nobody signed Tevin Jenkins even up to now. Wait
I
a
heard
minute.
the Saints were moving
The
in.
Chargers are signing Tevin Jenkins.
The Chargers? Oh,
They're gonna move. They're gonna let Tevin be a people mover like he is.
Wait a minute now.
You know what they do down there, Swift? They get after people on the ground, man.
they got Becton for a deal too. They got Becton
Yes.
for just $10 million.
Say that one more time, Swift.
Becton for $10 million.
They got
Wait,
Becton.
who did? The Chargers?
I'm gonna verify this.
Okay.
I mean,
Nah,
let me
he's not
verify.
here. I saw that.
Twitter can be Twitter lies sometimes.
I haven't seen it yet, so
He's not bullshitting. Dog,
Wait, if Tevin's contract is more than $5 million, don't we get some compensatory picks or something? Isn't
That
that
would
the way
set
the
us-
formula works out?
that would put us at even right now for the comp pick. We need to be positive, so we would need Keenan Allen to sign for $5 million or more a year, and then Tev's deal also has to be $5 million at least, and then we just have to not sign any more free agents till the draft or anybody over $5 million.
And we get what from that?
Comp pick next year.
Oh, okay.
Third rounder, we don't know what round.
It'd probably be fourth or fifth.
Okay.
Unless Tev gets big money. I'm thinking Tev signs a 1-year deal is what I'm thinking. A 1-year prove it deal. See if he can stay healthy, get back on the market next year.
They what they do down there and the kind of guard that or offensive lineman, however they want to use him, that Tevin Jenkins is, will definitely feature his talents. And I'm sure his agent and the team, they discussed all that. Like, dude, you're something else in the run game, and that's what we want to do down here. Just get after people. Be you.
Well, yeah. So he ain't signed. He's still a free agent right now.
Oh, okay.
I knew the market would be weak for him just because of the fact that he's been injury prone and he's got some consistent tape together when you look at it all. But like he played, I think 13, 14 games this year. And that's better.
He didn't finish more than 10 or 11 though. That's that stat his agent's tweeting out. I saw you see it was like Tevin Jenkins is visiting the Seahawks. He started 14 games this season. It's like, yeah, he started them. He ain't finished.
And you're talking and I just want people to know, you're talking to how many people? We got 4 people in here that's heavy Tevin Jenkins people. I know.
Well, I'm a huge Tevin fan, man. I was one of his biggest fans, but let's not lie about how many starts he had.
I mean, that's what's out there. He did play. He did get kicked out of a whole bunch of games.
Yeah, no, he did start 14 games, but we're Bears fans. No, we watched those games. We know a couple of those he played like 4 snaps and was out.
See ya.
Right. And that's we understand this the business nature of the game.
Man,
We can love you as people, but you got to be able to play, baby boy.
I'm always a fan of Tevin Jenkins, man. I'm always rooting for that guy, man.
I love that guy, but
keeping up cap space and roster spots.
Yeah,
but Tevin Jenkins stays hurt.
Yeah,
that's just the facts.
I think that guy's spirit got robbed. I think he came here expecting this, and at this point, what is he completing year 4? I think at this point, he expected himself to be this well-paid offensive tackle that they drafted him to be, and he got caught in the crossfire. Oh my God, he got caught in. Now, I'm not saying that Tevin Jenkins would have never been injured and wouldn't have these injury concerns as a tackle protecting, the quarterback, but this shit didn't go nowhere near the direction that he wanted it to go. The minute this regime changed over, they wanted to kick him in the guard. He wasn't feeling.
Well, shoot, go back even further than that. The moment we drafted him, we said, hey, we know you're a career left tackle or right tackle, but we're going to move you to left tackle.
Like, yeah,
so we started him at left tackle and then fired the coaches. And then we're like, all right, now you're a right tackle. Then we get to training camp and it's like,
you just sit on the bench over there. Yeah, you sit on the bench and then we'll figure something out.
You're out of shape. You're too fat. Like, get below 320 and we'll play you at guard. Like, what? Like, and then it was right guard to left guard. Like, man, they never let him settle in.
I didn't like none of it. I hated it for him, but this is the NFL. Was what it is. It is what it is. You gotta, whatever regime changes up and you're stuck in the middle of that, stuck on your rookie contract, you deal with what you deal with. That's unfortunate, man. I hate it. But go ahead. If you want to get this last pick in, go ahead.
So what do we got left? Show me wide receiver.
That is the last pick, right?
I think so. Yeah, give me LeJohntay Webster. I need a punt returner here, baby.
LeJohntay Webster, you are a Chicago Bear. Actually, he's got one more pick to go.
Oh, snap. Okay.
Hold on. Before we go any further, Scrolls, calm your ass down in there. You crazy as shit in this chat. Scrolls is off the charts, man.
He is, bro.
He's super funny every time, man. I like Tevin Campbell, not Tevin Jenkins.
Scrolls, you just cut it out, man. From this point on, you just be quiet.
Man, set your ass down.
Oh my God. I'm just catching it now, man. That's too funny. Damn. Like, and hold on. Who said it out there? Oh, AC Adam. I wouldn't say identical, AC. That's all I gotta say. I wouldn't say identical. But,
show me the safeties. Show me the safeties.
You want to see the safeties?
Oh, it's a good one there.
Oh, give me Shiloh, bro.
You want Shiloh?
Yeah. Cap it off with Shiloh, man. 7th rounder.
Just to piss off the old man, Shiloh Sanders is a Chicago Bear.
But guess what? You're not playing with your brother. He's coming to Chi-Town.
There you go.
James.
See how much fun this shit is when we just let it loose, man, and just have fun. Let's just time, man. Just have a good time doing this shit, man. This is fun. And we gave you real nuts and bolts Chicago Bears football content. You can't hate on that, man. This is real shit over here.
Look at go through your picks here, Swifty.
Is the only one, man. I'm like, what happened here?
That's some good pick. I mean, you got James Pierce. He'd come in. He'd challenge for the opposite defensive end spot right away, and at least would be a situational pass rusher capable of getting 5 to 10 sacks as a rookie. So,
well, hypothetically, you got Pierce on one side, Booker on the other.
No. Pierce on one side, Montez Sweat or Deo on the other. I mean, you could have Booker come in occasionally, but I'd want one of the other guys on the other side probably.
Makes for a crazy rotation, though, that's for sure.
Yeah. And then Kenneth Grant. Bro, if we get Kenneth Grant, our defensive tackle rotation would be insane. Because right then, I don't even know, because right now I'm thinking you probably move Jervon Dexter back to one tech and let him play nose where he played in college, right? He was more natural, and Flu switched him up. Flu switched him and Pickens up. Like, Pickens was a 3 tech, Jervon was a nose, and he flip-flopped him because he wanted him to be able to play both. But he's basically played him out of position for 2 years. So, but if we get Kenneth Grant, shit, you'd have Kenneth Grant and Billings at nose, and then you'd have Grady Jarrett and Jervon Dexter at 3 tech. That's probably the best defensive tackle rotation in the NFL.
Ridiculous rotation.
Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Ariante Ursary, he's going to challenge with, what's his name? Karan Amagaji and Braxton Jones for your left tackle of the future. Quinshawn's going to come in and be your starting running back right away. Jared Wilson, a guy who at least protects you if something happens to Drew Dahlman. or if his play falls off in 2 years when he gets a little bit older. But I like that one. You got tight end, 2 receivers, both out of Colorado, baby, or a wide receiver and a safety. I'm sorry.
Hey, Swift, you know what's weird about me? I'm a DB, and I've absolutely fallen in love with trench play. I mean, especially on the defensive line. Like, I fall in love with that tape. Those guys, you just know when you play it, these guys make all the difference in the world on both sides of the ball, offense, defense, in the trenches. And if it's right, it's right. And you start seeing everything flow from that. I am telling you, man, like I'm overblown when it comes to these guys on the defensive line, man. These dudes from 1 to 7 and talking about first round to the 7th round, these dudes are spectacular.
It's probably the craziest year for D-line ever. And that's another thing where I think people they don't give polls credit for evaluating the talent that's in the actual draft and taking advantage of it. Last year, there was 3 special quarterbacks, right? Everybody knew that. There were 3 special quarterbacks at the top of the board, but it was also one of the best wide receiver drafts in NFL history. And he took advantage of that as well and grabbed a top wide receiver, but it was also a class that was very deep in offensive tackles, where Karan Amagaji is a guy who has first round upside if he would have been healthy, and we got him in the 3rd round. So and then when you look at this year's class, he set himself up to take defensive line, and it's one of the best D-line classes I've ever seen. So I think that's smart planning.
Subtract D-line from the conversation. Based on what you see, like, what do you think is the second richest class here?
This year, running back. I mean,
you think
the
so?
Other class, like D-line, you can go defensive end and tackle or both deep. Running back is just special. Like, it's a special class. Like, I think Matt Miller said something like, it's like you took 2 years of running back classes and you just shoved them into one. And that because there's a really good one. It's also really deep as well. It's just a really good class.
I keep hearing that COVID year having some shit to do with that.
The what?
That COVID year.
Oh yeah, COVID. Yeah, COVID definitely had something to do with it.
Well, now along the lines of the draft, if hypothetically Komet was traded, what one of these tight ends would be the better system fit for Ben Johnson's offense, do you think?
Ooh.
Say that question one more time, Trip.
Out of this draft coming up, if there is a Cole Komet replacement, who would that be that would be the best scheme fit for Ben Johnson's offense in this draft at tight end?
I think there's a lot, man. This tight end class, I was going to get to it, but tight end is up there as well. Like, tight end is also a really good class, and Tyler Warren might be the guy, but he could also prefer Colston Loveland. He could prefer a guy like Terrence Ferguson on day 2 or Gunnar Helm. I don't know if Elijah Arroyo really fits. He's more of like just a big wide receiver instead of a tight end who's going to block. We know Ben Johnson wants to block, so it has to be a tight end that can block. So honestly, I'd probably eliminate Colston Loveland as well. Like, has to be a guy that can block and you can keep on the field when we're going to run the ball, because he wants to run the ball. We saw that. That's the one thing. If you look at when he moved on from TJ Hawkinson and drafted Sam Laporta, what's the one thing Laporta can do that Hawkinson isn't as good at? And that's blocking. So that's, to me, Tyler Warren probably fits the bill. That's why I think we've set ourselves.
But now he's not going to be available past 10, though, right?
No. Mason Taylor's another one. Cornelius just said in the chat. Always, that's a deep class for tight ends as well. Guys get lost in there.
Here's the thing: they just signed a blocking tight end, but that doesn't mean that still not looking for a blocking tight end hybrid / receiver. This is why Jalen Conyers really is special to me. There's another guy. If you're just looking for a pure receiving tight end, a cat named Brad Keithy. I can't remember exactly what school he is right off the top of my head, but holy shit. Brad Keithy is something else. You talking about a tweener, a guy that's a really good tight end as a blocking tight end that can give you some reception yards. Caden Prieskorn is going to be going late. This is about where you want to draft that guy. Do you want to draft him early or do you want to wait and get a guy? Like there's a case to be made for either or. You know what I mean? It really is.
All right, now that case being, if this draft comes up and Ryan Poles he throws in the ticket and says Tyler Warren at 10, are you happy, mad, or indifferent?
Ooh, at that point, I think I'm going to trust. I'm trusting Ben Johnson, and Tyler Warren is a freak. I mean, he's a guy he looks like Rob Gronkowski with more speed. I mean, he's a guy. There was a play at Penn State. If you want like a classic Bears type play, he snapped the ball as the center and then caught a 60-yard touchdown pass.
What?
Yeah.
So that sounds like a Ben Johnson specialty.
He's a guy who's
his minutes in mind.
He can line up all over the field. He can do anything. And that's one of the reasons I've said, like, you just can't rule it out. Our options at pick 10 are wide open. I think Ryan Poles really has given himself the chance that when we're on the board, if there's a player, because this year's draft, after you got 3 players, right? Cam Ward, who's not even going to be on our board because we're not taking a quarterback. So our top 10 is going to be Abdul Carter, Mason Graham, and then who's number 3 on Ryan Poles' big board? I mean, obviously Travis Hunter. I forgot about Travis Hunter. But who's number 4 and 5, right? When you get past those first 3 guys, you're talking then we pick 10, right? So when you're making this big board for Ryan Poles, and this is something I do, you go 1, 2, 3, and then at 4, it's really hard to get to 10 without having Ashton, Jeanty, and Tyler Warren in there. And you can argue that their numbers 4 and 5. But even if you want to go away from that and you're like, nah, let's move them down because they're different positions, right? So you're like, all right, I'm going to move James Pierce up or Michael Williams or a safety if you want Malachi Starks or a Manawari. But you got to start moving people up. And then at some point you're like, why would you take guys who are probably the 20th best player in the draft over someone like Ashton Jeanty or Tyler Warren? And to me, it comes down to Ben Johnson's going to be a key factor in this. He's going hand in hand with Ryan Poles. And that's why I said if he's in Ryan Poles' ear saying, I need a Tyler Warren, because Ryan Poles has to trust Ben Johnson at this point. He's the guy going to run this offense. And if he wants a Tyler Warren, give us a Tyler Warren. If he wants an Ashton Jeanty, give us an Ashton Jeanty. So I'm all for. We can go anywhere with this pick. And I don't know if we've had flexibility like that in the last 20 years since we took Cedric Benson in 2004. And that's a year we probably should have taken a quarterback. We should have taken Aaron Rodgers that year. I hate him, but would have been a much better pick, to be honest. But we have flexibility because we have our quarterback. Our offensive line is set. Our defense is pretty set. There are positions where, yeah, we could upgrade, right? But there's no major holes on this roster. Like, if we wouldn't have signed Deo, we had a huge hole at defensive end, and we would have probably had to draft one and pick 10. But with him on the roster making $16 million a year, we don't have to draft a pass rusher at 10. We can get Landon Jackson in round 2 or Princely Umana-Malayan. So
it's the best situation I've ever seen us be in. And the fact that in the offseason, and it squared up exactly the way we asked that it would square up, take care of what you need to take care of in free agency. And therefore, by the time you get to the draft, there's no thirsty. You're not thirsty and you don't have to have anything. There's no particular guy that you need to go and reach for at any spot. Now you have draft picks and you can get the best player that you think is available on the top of your board. That's exactly what I hope that we would do. And alignment wise, going into this draft, I don't think we can be better set up. You know what I mean? We can really, if Ben Johnson comes in there and he's the voice of the room when it comes to that first pick that we take, and he wants to stay at 10, let him have the 10th pick. If he wants to move back and says, you know what, Brian, we don't have to have this guy. Me and Dennis are in alignment. There's a guy that he wants, and there's a guy that I want, but it's neither one of them are guys that we feel like we have to have. That's exactly where you want to be at, right? You don't want to be in there like we got to have this player. So it's set up perfectly in my opinion, And I don't know that I don't know that it can get any better than this. Really,
Well,
I
let
don't.
me ask you this, and not that Ryan Poles would not be working with head coach Johnson, but a situation where he's like, I scouted all these kids. I like Armin Wari, just to say a name. I think he's a generational talent that's going to wear the gold jacket. That's who I want to take with my first pick. But Johnson says, but bro, I really need Tyler Warren. Who makes that call, and who do you think should make that call and get drafted?
Ultimately, the head coach.
I think Ryan Poles makes the call at the end of the day, but I don't think that's how they make their decisions. I think it's a collaboration thing. Poles isn't going to just be stomping his feet unless Dennis Allen is saying if his scout is telling him Nick Amana, if our top scouts are all saying Nick Amana is special, and Dennis Allen is saying, hey, I can turn that guy into an all-pro safety, but Ben Johnson was saying, I want Tyler Warren, then that's a discussion. Then it's like, But to me, I don't think Ben Johnson's that guy. I think Ben Johnson is, I think he would say, he'd be a guy where if there's a player there that's can't miss, he's going to be telling Ryan Poles he wants that guy. But if not, he's going to be like, Dennis Allen, tell me who you want for this defense.
He brought that guy here. He brought that guy here to be a piece. And of course he's going to say, you know what? I'm sure that I don't know that we were the first choice for Dennis Allen. Dennis Allen could have went anywhere, but he had to convince Dennis Allen to get here. How do you maintain that good relationship? Give him what the fuck he wants, right?
Give him what he wants. Let him choose what he and Ben Johnson could also say, like, look, I'm building this offense around Caleb. I can find a tight end. I know tight ends. I could find, like you said, maybe he likes that tight end on day 2 better. Maybe there's someone else he likes, and he's like, look, Dennis Allen, you get your freak pass rusher, your choice of all these guys except Abdul Carter, and then I'll make it work on offense. Don't worry. And that's I kind of lean that way.
If you had the option and can see into the future, and both of these guys end up in the Hall of Fame, Armin Wari and Warren, which one would you want us to take?
Oh, they're both Hall of Famers. I'm going the tight end. To me, I think safety is just a position that both of them are positions that are a little undervalued, but a weapon at tight end, a weapon on offense when the NFL is evolving into a passing league, slightly over a safety. Although if it's a free safety, if Nick Amana, the one thing he's missing, I think, is the ability to be a free safety and play anywhere on the defense. And that's what Kyle Hamilton had. So if it was Kyle Hamilton, I would choose him. But to me, Amana is missing that one thing. I don't think he's a free safety. I think he's too special up at the line of scrimmage. He's like a Cam Chancellor. He's a guy who he's going to make receivers pay. He's going to hit them hard when they come over the middle. And he's going to be a guy who's an asset to your run game and your run defense. He's going to come down and play like a linebacker against the run. But to me, I want a free safety that can go in the slot, cover slot receivers, can cover tight ends, and play that deep center field role. And that's Malachi Starks. And you probably get one of those in the second round. So
right, so swap out Armin Wari. Just say Starks is your number one safety.
I'd take Warren just because in the NFL now with Caleb Williams, you add DJ Moore, Romo Dunze, and a stud tight end. Give it to me, but just because we have Cole Kmet, give me the safety. I'll say that.
Okay.
All right, I'll tell you what, man, because I you know what, Swift, man, I always, since the very first time I did a podcast with you, I always felt something. I always saw something. And, you know, me, I'm the type of person I try to see around the corner, man. I think we could do stuff. And I think people really appreciate when they see us together, because you be over on your channel giving your take about a player. I'll be over here on this channel giving my take about a player. And people come from your channel to here and vice versa. And it's like, Swift said this, Nomad said that. It's good to get us in the same room along with these guys, man. And it's really good content, Philly, man. I know that everybody watching this show had a good time watching the show because we got some laughs in, but we really got to the football stuff. You know what I mean? And that's what people are looking for out here. You know, this is going on a 3.5 hour show, but I know that it was full, you know, and that's just because people that they really respect talking about football are here on this show having this content. And it's stuff we should do more often, man, in my opinion.
100%, man. And that's why one of the reasons Nomad reached out to me today. So I want to thank him for giving me the opportunity to come on and talk with you guys. Always love chopping it up. And I mean, there's too many people out there in the Bears content creator space that just want to beef, and they always want to fight, and they always want to go at each other and dislike each other for whatever reasons, and or fight over like viewers. And it's like, guys, there's millions and millions and millions and millions of Bears fans. There's enough for everyone to get views on here. And I think we need to do more collaborations and work together more and bring each other up, not try to tear each other down, which unfortunately, in my experience, there's a lot more of that than there is this. So I really appreciate
you're talking about the Justin sexuals, ain't you?
Yeah, there's a lot of them out there, man.
or is it the Caleb Colt? You know, because remember that was the debate.
That was last year. Now they're just finding random things to fight about. They can't.
Yeah, Roma Dunte wasn't a good pick, and like who knows what there is. Like we said earlier, we'll figure something out to complain about for this coming season. We'll find something for sure. But
I think sometimes, man, and we all know who these people are. Everybody wants to be the king dingaling of the block, and everybody wants to know more than the next person. Like, really ain't about that. Like for me, it's and this ended up being the Swifty conversation me and him had privately. It's about me and my love for the game and me understanding that other people love this the same way I do. You know what I mean? And everybody's not me and I'm not everybody. And being able to find that middle ground and making sure that you're respectful of everybody, like the work that I've been doing all my life, man, it's always about me trying to find ways to work shit, man. You know, it wasn't hard talking to Swifty at fucking all. As soon as we picked up the phone, it was just like we talked to each other yesterday. And I haven't talked to him in a couple of years, I don't think. But that's how it is, man. When somebody loves something, you'll find that as your bridge. I love football. I love the Chicago Bears. Swifty loves football. He loves the Chicago Bears. There's your bridge. Easy. Walk over that motherfucker and start talking. Work some shit out. It's that easy. If you start putting all the other shit that colors it in, you start focusing on that instead of the goddamn bridge, you're going to miss the whole goddamn picture. Straight up.
100%, man.
Just get through the shit, man, and let's do the shit together because the community, this Bears community that we all trying to build, suffers if we don't. You know what I mean? They want to see us together. They want to see us do stuff together. And they don't want the bullshit, man. I don't want it either. Straight up.
No beef. Yeah, I get it, man. Hey, and I just appreciate you coming on, man. I haven't been on here in a long time, and still watch the channel, and love to be here, man. You guys, Keds, Triple R, my guys, always love chopping it up with you guys, man. It was an honor. Honestly, time flew, bro. I did not expect to be here this long.
It's a good time. We had a good fucking time, and I will, if Swift invites me over to his channel, we'll tear the fuck up over his channel.
You guys could all come, man. Yeah.
We'll fucking do
that. That's what football fans, not only the Bears, but football fans, you know, need to really appreciate and search out and support these kind of content creators and this type of content, you know, where these fucking guys are just doing all these research, we're watching all this film, you know, rubbing their eyes to the wee hours of the night and the morning. You know, give me another pot of coffee, give me another beer, give me another joint, whatever it is the fuck they do. I'm not judging. But then they put together these very intuitive and knowledge-based, charts and scouting reviews of these prospects. And they go, you know, in depth at positions and, you know, they do the research and then bring it to us in all these different platforms that they are guests on. And we need to really appreciate that and understand the work and the dedication that's going into that. And don't just take it for granted. Oh, that's just, you know, some asshole talking on a podcast. It's no, that's Swifty. He's a very knowledgeable asshole. That Nomad, he's a very knowledgeable asshole. You know, that kid, he's a very knowledgeable asshole.
The way
Oh,
Trip,
you know, you show the respect, show him some love, and whatever project you see, you know, the creators that are putting in the actual work,
hold on,
support
man.
that shit.
They said you're gonna own a strip club.
Hey, you know, sometimes you know you got to do different jobs to entertain the public. And if that job involves, you know, spinning round and round, right round, baby, right round on the pole for a few dollars more.
Man.
That's all it is.
He'll still
But,
be
you know,
cooking
we
up in that
support-
We got a
we
Love and
support.
Rockets, reference. We definitely dated the F out of the show. What just me?
Hey,
What
why
does
you
this
pushing?
mean?
You know what's a great fucking investment if you had the money to do it? A fucking truck stop. Like, you ever been to a Flying J's or a Pilot?
Oh, yeah.
All those, like, those motherfuckers get paid, dude. You talking about, hey, dude.
Triple R's truck stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Triple R. I could see Triple R owning one of them motherfuckers with that old
then
man. That old man ass little what you call that thing they be putting in their ear walking around all day. What the
With
fuck
the
is that?
Bluetooth?
Oh, the hearing aid.
Yeah, the Bluetooth thing. Goddamn it.
Oh,
I could see Trip doing that.
But you see around back, that's where you got, you know, your Tiny Town Express, you know, where you got your munchkin strippers.
Yo,
You know, you got
since
your
we're going
buffet.
down this particular road, man, my wife been watching them little girls, them little Dallas. So like, I came upstairs.
So if you see what I deal with every week, these motherfuckers.
I came upstairs. I was like, wait a minute, what's going on? What are you watching? And, like, she's been power watching this thing for the last like 2 weeks. I've been meaning to bring it up. I can't get these little girls off TV.
Hey, well, start this shit because you're
you're
gonna be
not kids. You're talking like midgets or something, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You said
Little
it.
people, dwarfs,
If
Tiny
kids,
Town,
if
Yeah.
kids said
Hell,
he'd be mad if I put
orphan
that,
loving.
if I put that short out, the kid says that M word, he'll be mad about it. So watch your mouth.
My bad.
Not
It
that
ain't me.
one.
I'm sure they might be. I was telling a wicked story the other day about my friend and how he got knocked out by a little person. We're gonna go that way, but it's a story. I won't go back into it. And then we wound up going down this crazy road about little folks, and
I thought calling them little
And how they
people was
sexy.
more offensive. I
I
don't know.
don't know what you. I don't know what the word is. I'm trying
Sexy.
to be
Just say
politically
sexy.
correct.
They
But I'm the
sexy.
least correct politician of them all. I'm just putting it out
Oh,
there
my
like that.
Hey, Trip, there's some little dude listen to this right now. They're gonna run up on you when you see him on the street.
Motherfuckers.
You gonna get your ass
No,
whooped.
I think he would be trying to pat me on the back with his little ass because he's like, yes, you are recognizing that the female of the short people got no reason. Short people got persuasion are very amorous and they be shaking it around with they thick and there's like the everything's bigger in their hands and they get to like jump or like
Sit your ass down.
just a convenience factor. It's like, oh my god.
Swifty was like, "Yo, all right, I'm good."
Here's how you flip it on them. No, man. Truck stop. It's not gonna be like bad stripper club food. It's actually like old country buffet, good buffet kind of food. So you can go in for the food and just stay for the entertainment, as opposed to going for the entertainment, eating bad food.
All right, I feel you now because Trip scared the dog shit out of me where I thought he was going with this. I was terrified. But I was terrified. I ain't gonna lie to you. That shit scared the shit
It
out of
was
me.
all clenched up over there.
Because I was tight. My booty hole just too tight right now.
Clenched up.
But man,
Yeah,
listen, man,
bros,
we gotta get out
yeah.
here. The old lady just bust up in this thing, man, and she's off tomorrow. So we're gonna still get our content over here, man. Swift, you first up on deck. You want to give any shout outs and pleasantries before we get up out of here? Go for it.
No, man. I'm good. I appreciate you guys having me on. Thanks to everybody in the chat who watched. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. And that's it. I'm good.
Hey,
Rock
man,
and
appreciate
roll,
you being here,
Swifty.
dog. let's finish it up though, kids, real quickly, man, because my girlfriend bust up in.
I got you, man. I got you. And the chat definitely got us tonight. Thank you for representing en masse. Thanks to our homie Swifty for coming through. Damn it. One of these days I'm gonna figure out how to point on camera. Yo, big love to the chat. Clumsy Dad was out there. Smitty Q, Cornelius Squalls, Super No Maniac, the Minister, Charles Johnson, Super No Maniac, Derek Guy, Marco King, Black Diamond was out there with us. Trapper Keeper, Notorious TBG was down with us. Frank Q, what it do, Frank? Illy Jones was with us as well. Shout out to you, Illy Jones. Did I say Cornelius Squalls, the number 2 No Maniac? I'm gonna say it again. Who else we got? Ant Mass was out there with us for sure today. We also had Dante Purify, Skylark A08, MC Fact, King Booker World jumped in. He's a Super No Maniac as well. You should be too. Same thing with our guy Marlon Johnson. Thanks for coming through. The Crooked Commish was with us for a little bit. FFG Style jumped in, chopped it up in the chat, kept it real. Our guy Trapper Keeper was down with us as well. Who else we got out there? Jay Capone the Don. What it do, Jay Capone? Shout outs to you, sir. Damon Dice with the Decepticon logo. I love it, man. Brings me back to back in the days. Mark, what it do, Mark? Shout outs to you. Who else we got? Jose Sanchez from Puerto Rico.
Oh,
y'all suck, man. Y'all the worst. Don Burr is my idol was out there. I don't think that's a real legit Don Burr, but if it is, yeah, I guess you figured your way back from 8 Mile, and we appreciate that. But we know you'll be around sooner or later. We know you will. That's just what you do. You troll harder than anybody else. Black Diamond was out there with us tonight. Thanks for coming through, Petty Murphy. Shout outs to you, my brother Ronaldo Swift, member of the Swift family with DeAndre and our guy over here as well. Bob Keller was chopping it up in the chat there tonight. Sophisticated Thoughts was doing the same darn thing as well. Antoine Mallet was out there. We also got T3P Podcast jumping in, representing. Flex Diggs was in the chat. Nick Rembert was down with us tonight as well. The Shy was out there. Shout outs to you, Shy. I haven't seen you in a minute, bro.
hey kid, didn't you say you needed some water or something?
I could probably use some water right now, to be honest.
Swallow it and shut the fuck up.
Damn. Jeez. Red Fox is a feisty dude. For our old motherfucker. Anyways, Joseph Archer, shout out to you. Don was out there too, doing the darn thing. That might just about be the show. Oh, Paul Martin was with us. AC Adam was with us too. Man, I'm only about halfway through, and I know some more folks was out there. Oh, Joe Vizzo was with us. Shout out to you, Joe. White Ghost, what it do, White Ghost?
Scrolls is off the chain in here tonight, man.
Oh man, the Scrolls. Somehow maybe I missed the Scrolls, but the Scrolls was just jokes all night long.
I was all night.
Gotta love it, man. Scrolls keeps the chat bumping. The Harriest Bear Gooch was out there too with us. Brad Williamson, shout out to you, Brad. Big respect. He had all kinds of perspective tonight. CC in the place to be. What it do, CC?
Hey, we got to get out of here, kids. You can't get.
Don't worry, we'll be out of here in a minute. Relax, Jedi. The more you stop me, the longer it's gonna take. Jedi Ada, what it do, Jedi? Paul Rodriguez, the homie Paul was out there. Shout outs to you. Shout out to Dr. Earl. Who else we got out there? Ron C in the place to be. Shout out to you, Ron C. Terrence Fobbs. Big ups to you, sir. Do It All 36 jumped in as well. Jay Grizz, man. Big love to Jay Grizz. And that basically rounds it all out outside of my guys here, Nomad, Triple R, and Swifty. By all means, represent, like, share, subscribe, and visit all of our channels if you can. We would super appreciate that. You can catch me at Keds the Canuck right here on YouTube. You can do the same darn thing with my guy, Triple R, Sports Chicago style. Find him, seek him, like him, subscribe to him. Do the darn thing right here with my guy Nomad underneath, as well as Swift Sports.
Right on. With that said, big up to everybody that not mentioned and more of the voyeurs and just like to watch and lurk and listen, doing whatever you're doing. I don't know what you're doing. I'm not judging, but you nasty. Big up to all y'all. Make sure you follow the aforementioned channels as Kids broke down. A shout out to Nomad, a shout out to Kids, and of course, Pancakes Swifty for joining us and talking some draft prospect and general state of the Chicago Bears 2025. Let's go, y'all. Bear down.
Hey, talk it like you walk in. Swifty, go ahead and hit it up, man.
Hey, bear down.
Hey, I know it's time to go, man. I know it's time to go. We probably way past due. You better not have to take a shit when kids get to reading out his shout outs, man, because you're gonna be in trouble. And I'm gonna be real short with this, man. I appreciate Swifty because the minute I reached out and I picked up the phone, dialed his number, he picked it up, and we had a hell of a conversation that I enjoyed every minute of. And hopefully we're gonna move forward and have some more good content to give you guys and get all the goddamn barriers out of the way. I'm just tired of it, sick of it. And that's how the when you're in this YouTube space, sometimes people get very tribal and very territorial, and it turns into other stuff. And I don't want that shit around here. And I know Swifty, just talking to him today, I know he feels the same way about it. So I definitely appreciate him for being here. I will definitely, if he asks, I will come over there and do some content, and we'll tear it the fuck up over there too. But this is one of those wild, have a good time shows. Nomad at Night is known for that. Some extra sauce is known for that. We have a really good time doing these things. And I thought this was a good show, great content, great nuts and bolts Bears content that people can really sink their teeth into. But it was also, a good time. We had fun doing it, laughed, and we did the whole thing. So I appreciate you, Swift, for being here. Really, I do, man. And Kez and Trips is normally not on Nomad at Night, but I would love for him to be on Nomad at Night more regularly. But, that's just my ask to him. But thank you guys, every one of you guys, for being here. And I appreciate all you guys. Make sure you subscribe to every channel. The Swift Network, Kids of Canuck, Sports Chicago Style, the Nomad Network. Make sure you subscribe to all this stuff and enjoy the content, man, because we do put work into it. There's a lot of work that goes into everything that you see and hear from each one of these channels. And I just want you guys to appreciate it, man. So one more time before we get out of here, appreciate you, Swift, Kids, Trips, but we got to get out of here with these famous words. If you can think it and you can see it, there's no reason in the world why you cannot absolutely manifest it. Do not, and I repeat, do not be a prisoner of your own mind. But with that being said, we are out.
And Keds is nasty.